It'll grow on you.
Oh, I'm going to cut you.
Hi everyone, this is Crouching Tiger Alex. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I am joined by Hidden Morons Kirby.
Hey.
And Matt.
Howdy.
Here at the Real Gamerscore podcast, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and that one time we were here too. This week we talk about gaming in French, combat wombats, and comic books about Yorkers. But first, here's the song of the week. Oh my god, it's down again. Xbox Live, I can't sign in. I'm getting so mad I can't play my games. Better check the Twitter feed, it's still down. Yeah, is it back up yet?
Yeah.
No. Should I go outside?
Yeah.
No. Refresh service page? No. Live is everything I need, you better come back up right now. Xbox Live's back.
Yeah.
Time for games now.
Yeah.
Everybody, time for co-op games. Live is back. All right.
Woo!
That
No,
might have been too loud.
Was that in sync
You got jokes.
with
You got
JT?
jokes.
With JT? Oh no! What was that? What was that one? Didn't there's some
Is
other
this
one?
your knowledge on 5 and the Backstreet Boys?
No, 5 was good. Blue was alright as well.
I like
they were
Blue.
British though.
Alright, it's a good song.
Blue. With their one song. Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was the song
Jesse
of
McCartney.
the week, and you can enter the competition for the song of the week. We're going to give away a what is it, Chin? What are we giving away every 2 episodes?
A 10 insert currency here code.
All right.
So if you're from the UK, you get a £10 code. If you're from the US, you get a $10 code. From Australia, you get a $10 code, etc., etc. So no one from the UK win because it's way cheaper for me to get the other ones.
And if Clowntastic wins, he never gets anything.
That's right. No, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure I sent one to Matt versus Game and still not Brad yet. It just because I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll get it. And then I only got one for some reason. Like I went to the store because I'm like, oh, he's Australian, awesome. I can get him a code. I just went to the store, got a $10 code. I think I forgot to get one for Brad. So, buddy, you keep letting me know. I'll keep remembering.
Oh boy, I think we might need to crowdfund this at this stage.
Yeah,
Kickstarter for Clowntastic's code.
go fund me. I just need $10 to buy a code, guys.
All right. Well, it looks like here you've put a comment in. So this was an episode where someone won a code.
It was indeed. Yep.
All right. So Hawkeye Barry 20 has won the code for this most recent Song of the Week competition. If you want to enter the Song of the Week competition, every 2 episodes we'll be giving away the code that Chin mentioned there. You need to send an answer to the an answer to the Real Gamerscore account on True Achievements,
Or on Twitter. You know what? We can.
Or on
why
Twitter.
not? Why not do Twitter as well? Because I know not everyone's on True Achievements. So Twitter if you
send a
want
private message on Twitter
as well.
If you send
Either
it
of them.
as a
If you send it as a tweet.
everyone's going to see the answer.
I mean, look, you could send it as a tweet, but then more people will be like,
So-
oh, that's what it was. And
What I would do is I would send the wrong song as the actual tweet, and then DM us the correct song, just to throw people
that's
off.
crafty. That's crafty.
that's sneaky there, yeah.
But yeah, it's a guess of the song of the week that I just did there and the one in the next episode. So we'll give out another code on episode 62, I guess is the next one.
Yep.
Because we're at 60 today. You can also join us in Discord, join the conversation. We're all in there. Everyone's in there. Most famous people you ever known are in there. It's discord.io/realgamerscore if you want to get an always active invite to come and join us. You can also find our Patreon at patreon.com/realgamerscore if you'd like to support us. We would be very, very thankful, and we are very, very thankful for the people that have supported us, not only from the day we opened the Patreon, but people that have come on since then, new or old. We really do appreciate that you guys support us, and we give it back to you as much as we can. Having said that, we've got another contest here, our random to-do list contest. So every month we give away a code for people that are entered in our random to-do list competition. All you need to do two things to enter the random to-do list competition. All right, thing one is have a random to-do list and earn one achievement in it. That's one thing. Easy, no problems. Number two, you need to answer a trivia question. And to do that, you send that message to random to-do list on trueachievements.com. That's all one word, random to-do list. What is this month's trivia question, Chin? Because I don't know.
That is a very good question.
It is another game with the name Blast in it.
Yeah, it is indeed. Because the game we're giving away is Superstar Blast.
Also, Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver was the song last week.
Yeah, which is definitely unrelated to random to-do list, but probably should have been mentioned. So thank you for that.
I'm just jotting down the time for edits. All right.
Just write the whole show then, to be honest.
Just edit out the whole show. All of the ChinDocta's audio, just don't put it in. All right. So we're going to get straight into the news. So I've seen a couple of things around this week that we wanted to talk about. The first one here, I think is pretty exciting, and I know Tarragon will be quite excited about this as well. So, Warner Brothers, I was about to say Western Bulldogs, no. Warner Brothers Games Montreal has teased on Twitter potentially another Batman game. So, there's a little video here where they're broadcasting the bat signal, talking about Batman's 80th anniversary, etc., on Batman Day, and then there's another tweet here, which has got a little cryptic little video. I don't know what it's all about. They're talking about Capture the Night. Maybe it's something to do with Batman, I hope. Anyway, that's what the news article says. It's to do with Batman. I'm not super duper into Batman, but it probably means more to big time Batman fans. But I think another game from Warner Brothers Montreal, wasn't it Rocksteady? I guess
Rocksteady
it's
did the original.
making it.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers are the publishers, aren't they?
Yeah. But I thought that Rocksteady said that they weren't working on another Batman game. They were doing something else. And then everyone thought it was a Superman game.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. But we haven't heard anything from Rocksteady in quite a while.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see anything at E3 this year. Oh, wait. Too late. Well, it doesn't say anything in the tweets about a publisher. I mean, hopefully it is Rocksteady, but if it's not Rocksteady, I think that they've set a pretty solid framework for which another publisher could pick up.
I imagine they just publish their own game and get a developer to make it, given that they're a publisher.
Yeah, but they... Anyway.
Would probably get a developer.
Yeah,
rather
I
than a
guess
publisher.
That's what I was saying. Another developer to make the game.
You said publisher like 3 times.
All right, I meant to say people know. People know what I'm talking about.
I didn't know. I was really
Correct me on
confused at
those
first.
semantics.
Chen, don't listen to what Alex is saying. Listen to what he means.
Yeah, that's right. Come
Right.
on, mate. We've done how many episodes together, and you just...
I know,
don't
but
even
you
know the
sounded
words that
different
I'm
last
thinking.
week, and then 3 weeks ago you sounded different. I'm just a little confused. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's fair. So, developer is what I'm talking about, and published by Warner Brothers. Yes. Anyway, so it's pretty exciting. You guys interested in a new Batman game?
I'm a little mixed. I mean, I quite enjoyed Arkham Asylum, and I enjoyed Arkham City for the most part. I didn't play Arkham Knight, and I was just thinking about Arkham Origins, actually. Because that was made... That wasn't made by Rocksteady, right?
I don't think it was.
Origins? I don't.
It was
think
made by
Origins
someone
was.
else.
And neither was the Origins Blackgate Deluxe Edition, which is a completely different game.
That's probably my favourite one, though. It's basically Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably play another one. Oh, yeah. So apparently, Warner Brothers Games Montreal made Origins.
They're definitely not a developer, Alex.
Oh.
So
You've accidentally rolled yourself.
I have indeed, because
And I've somehow seen into the future and assisted you in said rolling.
yeah,
all right, so this Batman game's gonna have a time travel story in it, apparently.
Yeah.
halfway through the article, they're like the developer. I'm like, oh no, and then later down, it's like it said they last time they tweeted was to announce a DLC for Batman Arkham Knight, which was made by the Canadian developers. Inside, I was like, oh no.
So I actually saw a Batman comic today that I thought was pretty funny. So I'm going to try and explain this to you. I'm not sure this is great podcasting, but probably just deal with it. So the first panel is Batman and Superman talking. Batman's like, I'm smarter than you. You're never going to beat me, blah, blah, blah. And Superman is like, he walks off like, yeah, okay, mate. Then he does that little going around the world so fast thing that he goes back in time. I'm not really sure how that works. I think it's a load of bollocks. But the third panel was like Superman stopping the gunman like 20 years ago that killed his parents, and he just, knocks the gun out of the dude's hand, and he goes up and he's like, I am better than you, Bruce. And I was like, okay. All right, not bad. Not bad. And then I thought, good size, yeah.
So, just to tangent a bit. So that going around the Earth, is that I can never remember if it's him reversing the Earth's rotation and therefore reversing time on Earth, or just going so fast through light speed, going faster than light speed to travel back in time, for some reason around the Earth.
Yeah,
because that's where he's chosen to travel.
I think Superman's powers, like looking at his list of powers, I think his powers is basically the only things that he can't do are things that he hasn't tried to do yet.
Yeah.
Other than that, he can just do whatever he wants. So it could be both of those things. He might be just going around so fast and also going back in time.
I've Googled it.
That's a Flash thing as well.
Yeah. So, he can fly faster than the speed of light.
Okay.
So he can reverse time and go back to the past, or apparently go to the future. I don't know. But
well, yeah, that when you can travel through time, you can sort of pick whether you want to go forwards or backwards in time. More forwards, rather.
I was going to say, I'm going pretty forwards through time right now.
Yeah. We can only travel through half of the fourth dimension at a rate not determined by us. 1 second per second.
Can Superman fly faster than Flash can run? Okay, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
Well,
all right, so
no, you can't pose the question and then not answer it. Is that a Ken?
I closed it out, mate. It's gone.
Or
it's gone.
How?
The answer is the Flash always has to be faster, otherwise he doesn't need to exist as a superhero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I did read a little bit of the question. It didn't suggest that.
That's because they're wrong. Because what they've just got is fan theories.
Through space and time.
Yeah, so can the Flash, though.
I don't know anything about the Flash. I read like 4 words of it. Okay, maybe more
so
than 4 words. That's what they said.
At the point you're going faster than light, like it doesn't really matter how much faster you go at that point, does it? Yeah.
Not particularly.
Because at that point, you're, you
get there before you left. I mean, look, let me put it this way. One of the plot lines for the Flash in Flashpoint was him traveling so fast through time that he went back in time to create himself with the lightning strike that gave him powers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how quick
he pushed a kid in front of a... He just pushed a kid into a lightning bolt? Is that how that works?
Basically, yes. That's pretty much it. He actually became the lightning bolt that struck himself.
Oh.
And he gave himself the powers that he already had and created a weird causality. Flashpoint's a nightmare. But the Flash is one of my favorite superheroes. Anyway.
He just punched himself.
It sounds a lot like the grandfather paradox.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm really glad that Alex and I, who have, I would argue, little to no comic book reading experience, are discussing this with Matt, who has at least more than 0, and that this is where our podcast has gone.
That's fine. I mean, this podcast is nearly spun off into a into a
Drink,
wrestling
drunk.
comic book drunk karaoke
wrestling.
show anyway.
Yeah.
Did you see
No,
that
I
article
didn't.
on True
Move on.
Achievements about wrestling? That I'm not sure what his name is. The guy who has
Triple Threat. Ryan
Did you see
Miller.
the clip where Chris Jericho was in it?
That was good, yeah. That was a good skit.
That was pretty sick.
That was pretty good. I didn't recognise the other two.
I didn't recognise the other
They're
two
just
either.
jobbers, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Jobbers, that's a good industry
That's a term. Yeah.
That's a work. No, it's not.
Yeah,
really work
don't
anyway.
don't break kayfabe.
Oh,
Alright.
we're gonna go down another rabbit hole.
So Batman did a thing, though, which is cool. So good for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd
look,
be interested to see if it's
I'll-
another game like Rocksteady makes, but it might not be.
I think they need to evolve the formula though. They can't just do another Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City sort of thing. Like they need to change it up a bit. I think because even Arkham Knight didn't do super well because people were really tired of the formula.
Maybe if they did like a team-based Batman versus the Joker shooter in like
What
arenas.
if they did a Batman Battle Royale?
100 Batmans glide onto an island and don't kill each other, but they do break a lot of
Knock
bones.
each other out.
Yeah.
In severe uses of power.
Severe concussions.
Yep.
That Batman is very concussed. He doesn't know the date or his age or any of that.
All right. Let's go on to the next one. So I'll just read the title out. I don't know who added this one in, but French court rules that Steam users must be allowed to sell their digital games.
So
Interesting.
this is not directly obviously related to the Xbox, but it has some interesting potential ramifications for the industry at large.
Oh boy, does it ever.
So I figured. So a French court has basically ruled that digital goods are the same as physical goods in the eyes of the law, and that means that Valve needs to allow a system for customers to sell the games that they own rather than having them tied to their account and be useless. Now, realistically, how this actually happens, I mean, Valve already talked about appealing the decision because they think it's ridiculous, which makes sense because it means they would lose their market share. But one of the big discussions that happened around, especially when the Xbox One launched, they wanted their whole DRM box thing going on, was that digital sales would essentially kill the used game market. Well, it looks like maybe the used game market might have some fight in it still, because if this goes through and this becomes the norm, or at least, becomes something that that a bunch of companies have to put in place, and in the same way that you see, if it happens in 2 or 3 countries, then chances are they're going to have to do it for everyone, or everyone's just going to change their region to France.
Yeah. Sacre bleu!
Yeah.
My video games have changed their language.
Oh, thank you, Chin. Yeah, I mean, it would be really interesting. It was, yeah, no, that's. I didn't realize you were fluent.
Do next week's song of the week in that in that accent.
I'll do both versions, okay? And we can decide
We can decide how
offensive we want to get to our
yes.
listeners. I have to quickly check the demographic of our listeners that are in either French parts of Canada or France themselves.
No, it's fine. People that speak French have a great sense of humour.
Yeah, no, they don't take anything personally.
No.
They're not touchy at all. So this could be big if it turns into a large thing. I mean, maybe Valve appeals it and it gets thrown out and they decide that they're not going to do anything with it. But can you imagine all of those games that you have? I mean, Chen, how many games do you have in your backlog compared to what you've actually finished on the tag?
So I can quickly hit the buttons to. So at the moment, I've got 73 sitting in my ready to install, of which I would have finished maybe one of those that I haven't hit yet. When I hit the button combination, that goes to 509. So I've got about 420 games digitally on the Xbox One that I've either said, nah, I'm not going to play this anymore, I'm done, or I have finished.
Yeah, can you imagine being able to resell them, whether you resell them back to Xbox or where you can, because I highly doubt they'd let you sell them to individuals, but can you imagine some sort of trade-in scheme or some sort of something?
Talked about it
a
few years ago.
that got-
Saying like you could trade it back for 10% of what you paid for it. I don't think that actually ever came to anything.
I'd much prefer to sell it on if
For
possible, because I'd rather someone not have to. I don't see, because I have less issue with me paying full price for a game because I have a bit more disposable income than others may, or they just may be more frugal and less willing to openly purchase things like I am. So if I could sell a game that I got for $15 to someone for $5, I'd have no issue with that. I wouldn't try and push up the price to try and get my money back. I'd just be glad that someone else is enjoying or suffering through the game, depending.
Whatever the case may be.
You wouldn't even sell Crimson Keep. You'd be.
I don't know that I would.
Sure.
I don't know that I'd sell any of my roguelites. But that's a personal thing. See, I get this is a slight tangent. I get in a weird state where once I've beaten a game, it can't be that bad for the most part if it's a short enough experience. Like Albedo, terrible game, awful game. Once I beat it, I was like, I guess it wasn't that bad if I managed to get through it. That's your toy, same thing. That's a terrible game that I wouldn't recommend to people. But now that once I beat it, I was kind of like, for me, it wasn't that bad.
Good old nostalgia goggles.
Take you to get that key in the line?
But I got lucky there. And that probably affects it as well. I didn't have to do hundreds. 17
times in a row.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would much prefer to sell on my games to someone, but if I can get 10% of that back, even 10%, that's a huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how it would even be implemented. I mean, I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon, but I think as we move into this all-digital future and digital goods, because the argument's always been is that you're not buying the game, you're buying a license to play the game, right?
Yep.
Which various countries have said yes or no to. America in particular tend to be pretty much on the side of, it's a license, you don't technically own it, they can take it away from you at any time. But
yeah,
I know Australia is different.
The other way. Yeah, or at least has lent very heavily in the direction of you're getting a product, not a license.
It's weird because I think about it functionally saying if you buy a game, you should be able to sell it to someone else. And the way that developers get around that is no, you just buy a license to buy the game. It's I want to sell my license to someone else then.
Yeah.
If you look at it like that, there really is no difference.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, in the eyes of the law, you have not been able to sell a license onto someone.
Good news. We have no French listeners, or no people in France that listen.
Oh, good. Okay, then, we'll just be as offensive as possible.
Until we run our French targeted ad campaign.
Yeah. We do have a weirdly large percentage in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh.
Arkansas. Do you know, I didn't know until this year that Arkansas
was spelled with an S at the end.
Arkansas.
Oh boy, they get very. You want to talk about touchy? People get very touchy about the whole Arkansas thing.
We'll just chuck a W on the end of it, and everyone says the same thing, right?
Sure. Yep. Arkansas.
And we have a surprisingly large contingent of listeners in Florida. That concerns me.
No,
Florida.
You know what? Have you listened to some of the recent episodes? I mean, we're probably. I think we really are targeting that Florida man demographic.
Have you guys Googled Florida man in your birthday?
No, I have not.
Someone did it the other night. It was pretty funny, but I didn't remember what it was all about. I'll be doing it now. You guys looking down at your keyboards. All right.
Yeah. Okay. The top hit was Florida man hides heroin drug in 5-year-old shirt. But the thing is, that doesn't necessarily scream Florida man. That could have been anywhere.
What's yours, Matt?
Florida man whips restaurant worker with rope.
Oh boy, I don't know if I can read mine out. What I will do is I will censor one of the words. Oh boy,
I can censor it.
You won't need to because I'll censor it. But if you censor it with the noise, like the sheep noise or the Cameron's cat bell, people will not know what you're saying. All right. Florida man vapes special man juice.
Oh, God. He must have been one of those 5 cases of the people that died from vaping. And if he isn't, I kind of wish he was.
The other 4 was those that vape the Gamer Girl water.
Oh, yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Belle Delphine. She's a genius, man, with her marketing.
Look, yeah, she's good at what she does.
It's certainly...
She does that face. I don't know what it's called.
Ahegao.
No, don't.
What?
No.
Ahegao. Ahegao. Ahegao.
Okay.
Like the damn
My girlfriend perked up when I said that.
Yeah, of course she did.
Okay. Alright, so why don't we get back on track and talk about this? Alright, we'll finish off with this. Do you guys think that it will stand and that we may be able to sell our digital games in the future, or the licenses to digital games?
I think it will stand, but I just don't know how long it's going to take for it to reach mass outside of France. Because, I mean, the French tend to be pretty left-leaning at the best of times when it comes to consumer rights. It'll be interesting to see how it affects... It will need to permeate through Europe first for it to become a thing in the US or anywhere else, to be honest. But I think we're still quite a ways from seeing it, but I think it's a good first step.
Yeah.
Chin?
I mean, Valve are obviously appealing it. I don't know how long that's going to take. I doubt we'll see a change big enough that'll impact the next 2 generations of consoles. I think maybe 3 generations down the line, that's when we may start to see effects from this, assuming it goes through, which I'm pretty sure it will. I don't see what Valve could argue that they wouldn't have already argued. Like, why would you hide, your trump card and hope, like, you just get it done the first time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hope that a higher court sees it your way, I guess. But they'll probably make millions while it stays in court anyway.
Of course.
Of people not being able to sell them. Alright, hop on to the next article. So the Inside Xbox stream promises huge updates on Project xCloud and Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean...
What's this one going on about?
This is so... I don't know when it is. It's
soon.
It's 6 p.m.
Yeah, but is
ET,
that today or is
Eastern
that...
time?
No idea when it is.
That's all
September
I've got.
24th.
So
yeah.
So that'll
later
be
today.
tomorrow for the US, yeah.
11 p.m. British Standard Time, so 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning for you tomorrow, Alex?
It's about 12 hours from now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be at work.
My thing mainly was that if you get your one choice that you think is most likely, or that that you most want to come to Game Pass, because they're going to be adding something. They'll add something. What do you most want? And everyone couldn't. Borderlands 3 is an easy pick, but let's try and think of something that didn't come out this week. Yeah. What game do you most want to show up in Game Pass, or kind of you think is most likely to from
something that's not already in there?
Well, obviously.
Not that. I mean, that's already coming in. Like there are things that are coming in.
Yeah, not something that's already coming in. Something just completely unrelated. Because I mean, some of the recent announcements they made of stuff coming in sort of threw me off as well. I wasn't expecting Bloodstained, Curse of the Night, or whatever it is,
or
Ritual
Jump
of the
Force.
Night.
Yeah.
Jump Force, yeah.
My one that I would hope goes in is the new Doom game, Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
that'd
Yeah,
be
that
a
would
big
be...
Which is not that long of a bow to draw, I think. I don't think they'll do it, but they did have the Doom 2016 reboot in there.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little while after it came out, but I reckon that would be awesome.
I think Control would be a good get, considering how much of a bashing it's been getting recently on the Xbox, at least. I think it would probably be...
it?
Well, I mean...
Yeah, it's just not been selling well.
No.
That's all I've heard about it, that it's not selling that well. I
So
haven't heard anyone saying it's not good.
No,
Good game that just hasn't
I know
sold.
Tarragon said it was an excellent game. I've been really looking forward to playing it, but it's at that stage where we're at the end of the generation. The game apparently runs a little rough. That's even on high spec stuff on the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, and people seem to be a little bit hesitant about about Remedy with after Quantum Break and that sort of stuff. So, I think
That's a shame, because Quantum Break was really good, really ambitious, and for me, it pulled it off. I know it wasn't everyone else's cup of tea with the TV episodes in between them.
There were TV episodes in between them.
I spasmoed it.
I just skipped the crap out of those. The streaming on them apparently is broken, where it will just crash the game, so you had to download the episodes. So that was an extra 70 gig.
Yep. Anyway. So I think Control would be a good get. It's probably still way too early for it, though. It only just came out.
Well, if it doesn't sell well, that might be impetus for it to go into the Game Pass to get it into more people's hands.
Potentially,
That's happened before. I don't want to say that's happened before, but there's been situations where that look like what has happened.
Yeah.
Chin, what would you want to see?
I was really hoping we'd stall for longer. But,
Gnome's Garden 5?
no. I'll just buy it. I'll get a code.
Gnome's Garden 6?
I think something that would be fun and a little bit left field would be PC Building Simulator.
Nice, yep,
Yeah,
I can see it.
Why not? What about Car Mechanic Simulator, or whatever that one is?
Car Mechanic Simulator. I don't think that's got as much quality and polish on it. I think
Right.
there's nuts and bolts aren't in the right place.
I mean, I wonder if there might be a DLC announcement or something along those lines, because that's been some of the talk around. Is that, I mean, obviously the idea is to give you the game for free, so you pay DLC and they give you 20% off it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did some sort of bundle deal with DLC, with maybe not for all games, but because if you look at something that's episodic, like Life is Strange episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Or season 2 or whatever. Technically that is an episodic game, so normally if you buy it, you would get the first episode and you have to buy the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they're just going to release all the episodes once they're all out after a few weeks or whatever it is. They did the same with Thief of Thieves and that sort of stuff. I mean, maybe we start seeing some package deals or something along those lines, where it's like, this is the game with the DLC, but it's not necessarily every game has all the DLC.
Yeah. Maybe some of your bigger titles, or ones with a larger pile of DLC, more appealing to someone that they would get the DLC with it.
Yeah, I mean,
So
look at Hitman, for example.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have to admit, I do like those ones that come out and they include the DLC when you get them.
I'm also hoping that they put the Borderlands Game of the Year edition on there, so I can finally finish it after that damn goal
after that weekend.
free weekend, which logged me out of my console because it was an update and I lost half my progress.
Savage.
What about Project xCloud? That seems to be the other big thing that's happening.
Yeah, I still think there's going to be nothing worth talking about, to be honest. Like
They've had the take-home test now, haven't they? They're shortly into the take-home test, like the start.
Some alphas maybe have, but October was when they were going to start beta testing, at least from what they said at E3. There possibly could be people who have had hands-on at home.
Maybe they'll do an early announcement or something like that, or they might start talking about potentially about pricing.
Open up the beta to
maybe,
like, say, applications are open now to whatever. I don't know. I still think it's too early in what their lifeline for whatever their timeline for Xbox xCloud is for anything huge. Like, they're not going to drop it and say it's live now. And even if they did, I don't think it's the right move.
No, well,
you
need a killer app or something to actually really show it off.
Yeah, it's not worth just beating Google to the punch if you flop.
Yeah.
The killer app is your own massive games library.
I mean, yes. I
Yeah,
mean, to
but-
be fair,
well,
I'm someone who doesn't leave
we
the
were
house
here
all that
too.
often, so... If we were here to... Or, actually, you know what? If we get a free copy of that, I'll sign up.
I probably would too. We'll more about that later. Yeah,
All right.
I think xCloud's just a little bit too early on. They also said stuff about Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I feel weird that they've specifically sort of highlighted that, but whatever. I guess that's
Maybe
sort
they're
of the
trying
next,
to get exclusive rights on it or something like.
maybe
They
it's
get
just
some
the next
exclusive
big
DLC
things
or
coming
something.
out. Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on here. So our last news article, something I saw, which I think is pretty good. I think, Chin, you'll be a bit whatever about it, but After Party's been confirmed as coming to the Xbox Game Pass in October. So After Party, unless I'm wrong, is the game by the same developers as Oxenfree, which Chin
Yes.
famously didn't enjoy because he didn't listen, which is the whole point of the game.
I love
Pass.
Oxenfree.
Was it Oxenfree that it did? I mean, I probably didn't like it, but I'm sure... I don't know that it was Oxenfree specifically.
You just hate
Did
narrative
you like
games,
Oxenfree?
right?
I have done a single playthrough of Oxenfree. I may have also been jaded because it was UHH and I wasn't... Like, that's designed to not pay attention during as well.
That's a shame. It's such a good game.
I'll probably go through and do a proper playthrough and see how I feel.
You have to do 3 playthroughs anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, 3. Anyway. Alright, so it's coming to Game Pass in October, which I think is a really good get. The text at the bottom of this video in the article is exactly the same as Oxenfree. Wow. It might not be exactly the same, but it's looking exactly the same to me. Anyway, that's a weird little tangent, but that's exciting news for me. Alright. So we've got the Great True Achievement Scoring Challenge Roundup. Chin, why don't you tell us what's happening with that?
We do indeed. We have entered one of the periods. And
look it up.
What?
I'll look it up for you.
Cheers. So for the bonus...
13.
The bonus for the 13th period that we have entered this week is in the solo side, and it is called High Jump, and it's to end the period having scored 3,000 True Achievement difference. So not Gamerscore, not True Achievement. This is the actual score you see on the leaderboard. You need 3,000 True Achievement difference. You can get that however you want, but as long as you accept for bonuses. Bonuses do not count towards this. You have to actually earn the achievements yourself. So you can't just pop 6 bonuses and be like, bam.
Look, I got it.
Yeah. Also because decay will hit you and you'll be stuffed. But regardless, if somehow magically you didn't get a week of decay, that would not count. As for period 12, the cutoff on the solo side was 438 True Achievement difference. We had our low listener of Koosh Moose with 468, a mere 30 above the line. Our high flyer for the week, and I think he needs a big congratulations, is Tropan, because he got first this week.
He
got first
smashed it.
Yeah,
Trovan was all over it.
he did use a few bonuses, but I think he's just kind of going for the first, so whatever. I mean, it's not like he definitely doesn't have aspirations of winning, so he's just happy to get a first and then bow out probably this period. But he got 14,799 True Achievement difference. Yeah.
That's obscene.
Absolutely mad.
We did have someone leave the individual side. Marky Bihoy, 89, has got eliminated. Unfortunate, but it is what it is.
luck.
Yeah.
I'll
And
see
that's
you
it.
out there soon, probably.
Yeah, I'm trying. We're all trying really
Oh,
hard to
boy.
get out of this competition. The cutoff for the team side was 1,997 True Achievement difference. Funnily enough, our lows and our highs kind of sound familiar. Our low for the team side was Team L15RH, which is Dan Brazendale, L15RH, and Marky Bihoy, 89, with 2,375 True Achievement difference, a mere 379 above. And our team high was the Von Coin Bandits in Tropan, Hawkeye Barry 20, and I Need Togepi in 4th spot with 12,752. So, yeah, good on them for doing so well. They obviously didn't pop any bonuses on the team side to get first, so it is what it is. We move on. And no one got eliminated on the team side. So team side seems to be a bit more competitive than the solo side for sure. Like, even the cutoffs are more than triple what the solo side is, so there seems to be a lot more people in the solo that aren't in team than the other way around. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes on, because it definitely the cutoff dropped in the solo side over the last couple of weeks. It went down because there was a ton of decay, but team side kept pushing up. But that's GTask.
And I'm still in it, apparently.
Yeah. So somehow,
I don't know how that's happened.
Somehow all of us are still in it, right?
Yeah.
But, I don't know how that's happened. I got absolutely murked by decay from Blair Witch. I've been slowly trying to claw my way. People need to either stop playing the game or start playing it and then just get the first achievement and stop playing it. Because you ruin it for everybody. And by everyone, I mean me. Well,
so there's the Monster Hunter Iceborne DLC came out. For some reason, it has not recalculated. So there is an achievement that is currently being calculated against one earner. There's a bunch of achievements that are doing it, that are currently being calculated against one earner. So I think it's like, it's got a 20 ratio or something, so it's at about 2,000 true achievement difference. Or maybe, I don't even think it's 100 points, like a 15 pointer. It's sitting at 2,000 TA. And there are currently about 50 people who've earned it.
Oh boy, when that gets recalculated, that's going to be rough.
For whatever reason, it hasn't recalculated. There's some site bug. We've raised it to Rich and Jack, and hopefully they'll sort it soon. But that is going to tear those people a new one. That is, if any of them are in GTask, they are done. Because I can guarantee it's not only this one. So, I mean, you're looking at upwards of probably 5 to 6 to 10,000 decay.
Boy.
Someone's hopping on Minecraft. Multiple editions of Minecraft.
I was going to say, Minecraft to get a crackdown going.
It's going to be a disgusting drop for whoever's in there. But anyway, the review. Alex?
Yes, what are you reviewing this week?
Warren and I reviewed Grasscutter Mutated Lawns. It's a sometimes you game. I mean, to be honest, you can skip about 6 minutes because that's basically the review there, but if you want to listen to us reiterate that point, here it is.
Hello and welcome to our take on Grasscutter Mutated Lawns. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'm Planting42, and with me as always is Mr. ChinDocta himself.
How's it going?
This week, as I said, we're taking a look at Grasscutter Mutated Lawns by Sometimes You, their publisher. This was developed by USA Nick?
Usanik.
Usanik. I like that. This was released on the 10th of July, 2019 on the US market for $6.99. TA has this down as a puzzle genre, although I think it probably fits better in the lawnmower simulator genre. They don't have it yet, but I mean, that's where I would put it.
Yeah, well, this is one of 3 games to start the leaderboard, so I'm sure it won't be too long.
We'll get a petition going. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
The time estimate is pretty solid at 1 to 2 hours. It's probably going to take me a little bit longer, maybe 2.5, because I'm having a bit of a hard time with one boss in particular. There's really only one achievement that's kind of time consuming. The rest you'll grab pretty quick as you progress through the game.
Yeah.
So the plot for this one, I'm not really even sure where to start. You're charged with wrangling the oddities away from these lawns, as well as making sure the grass is cut nice and neat. As in, you got to cover every square. And you got to do them quickly because there's a timer as well. Even though it doesn't really seem to matter how well you actually do, there's no achievements tied to like 3-starring all these levels or anything.
Yeah, there's nothing related to actually 3-starring.
No, exactly. So you end up kind of like avoiding or taking out all these monsters and obstacles and whatever in your path. But they're not like ordinary lawns at all.
No, it's a very obscure layouts, and like the fact that they've mutated the grass to become monsters is weird. Scientists,
Exactly. And that, to my knowledge, they didn't really explain how it happened. It was just kind of well, here we are. I guess it's time to fix this.
Yeah, there was a small cutscene of them dropping some liquid onto the grass and making it, but no reasoning behind it or explanation of why, really.
Yeah, it's just corporate made it happen. So, taking a look at the achievements in Grasscutter Mutated Lawn, you see there's 20 in total. None of them are really that hard. One, like I say, will take a little bit of time to learn the boss patterns, because it's kind of my stumbling block at the moment. And because you have to get all the way through level 16, and this boss is on level 15. The reason you got to get to level 16 is because you unlock a perk at 16, which gives you the Master Pack, which lets you then go to a level that has sand for your final achievement. Yeah. But other than that, it's just basic interactions. You buy a new lawnmower, you scare birds, cats, dogs, drive over, into, and through various obstacles, disable monsters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's something you'll definitely have to grind to get them all, because just unless you're like really, really bad, most people won't get, like, for example, the driving into the mud 20 times, because there's maybe 1 or 2 levels with mud in the first 16. So unless you got stuck on those for a really, really long time, you're going to need to grind, as you won't have gotten it just through natural play.
Exactly. The gameplay in this game, it's got some pretty simple controls and implementation. You can backtrack by just pushing the opposite direction. There's no like Qbert controls where you have to kind of go around in a circle. The only real penalty is to your time, but again, it doesn't seem like it really makes much of a difference. There's no achievement progress tied to the time. You can repeat your levels as much as you want for various achievement progress, like we're talking about, all the different things you have to drive over or through or whatever, as well as to get extra coinage if for some reason you want to unlock different lawnmowers. The lawnmowers are kind of interesting, I guess, to mention, because they do have different abilities. Some can drive over or through different terrain better than others, or they let you like a one-time escape from certain terrain that would otherwise disable your mower, or they offer you ways to disable monsters by shooting stuff at them or things like that.
Or pooping, if you choose one of the animal lawnmowers.
I never did try the animals. I kind of want to try now. We'll do that for the boss. Maybe that's what I need to do.
There's a huge variety of animals, which is like that goes down the line. I think, there's cows and sheep and llamas and turtles and snails and koalas and unicorns, and it's ridiculous how many animals they give you the option of using
as lawnmowers. I love it. Graphically, it's a pretty basic kind of game, although I will say it is in 4K for those that want the extra sharp edges to the boxy graphics.
Yeah, really beautiful looking. Runs really well on an Xbox One X because it's enhanced, so those load times are almost non-existent. It's just top tier.
So I guess taking a look back again at Grasscutter Mutated Lawns for a verdict, I mean, it's a little bit steep for the typical sometimes you rattle like a game, and given the lack of replayability, ease of achievements, I'd probably wait on a sale before cutting into this one. I mean, it's $7, so
yeah, you can get a Ratalaika that's going to be about the same length of time and probably a better game for $5. So yeah, I'd wait on this one. Unless you desperately need some Gamerscore, in which case go for it.
Right? I mean, it does fit that bill quite perfectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Grasscutter Mutated Lawns. Back to you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Kirby and Warren, for reviewing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Grasscutter Mutated Lawns, and thank you, Matt, for your awful pun just before.
Don't worry, we'll cut.
Which has definitely not been edited out at this point.
No, we'll cut right through it.
It either has or it hasn't. Definitely one of the two. We can say for sure is I haven't copied it and pasted it 20 times in a row leading up to the segment.
I mean,
That for sure.
I was more worried it was on the chopping block, to be honest.
I'm just not done.
Kirby's walked away. He has walked away. Oh boy, that's a bit awkward because he was due to be first on the what we've been playing this week.
All right. So what's all right? What Kirby? What have you been playing? Well, we were playing this really good game called We Were Here. I played this with Matt over the weekend. We did a bit of a blind playthrough. It was pretty good. We had a great time. Matt was actually really good at all the puzzles. Actually, like I had to rely on him like a lot. Like actually, you know, if it wasn't for Matt, like it would have been like I would have been wasting my time. I would have been there for hours. But thank.
Oh, hello, Kirby.
Oh, hi, Kirby.
It's like you never left. Hello.
I mean, the first thing I want to talk about was We Were Here, because there's the new games with gold. I feel like that's predominantly kind of...
All right.
I'm sorry, I obviously missed whatever we said leading into this.
No, we were just reviewing your notes on the game We Were Here. So,
Oh,
yes.
perfect.
We got to the fact that you played it with Matt, and then you walked back in.
Okay, good. Yeah, so Matt and I played it on the weekend. We did a blind run through first because we both knew it was a reasonably quick game, so we figured it's not going to hurt us to try and play it legit. Because I think Bill's had like a 18-minute video up for the whole thing. But
Was that for all the achievements, or just to run through the story?
all the achievements, I think, all the achievements, but you have to play twice and a bit more for efficiency's sake. So he may have just shown like the playthrough with two side by sides of the gameplay kind of thing. Because I mean, the gameplay doesn't change. The puzzles don't change drastically in between runs because there are a few randomized things, but it's not like night and day differences. And I think Matt and I would both recommend doing a blind run through with whoever you play first because you're not losing that much time. It took us maybe just over an hour.
Yeah, I'd say maybe an hour and a half tops because we had a bit of clean up, but yeah.
And it was fine. So the game does allow you to invite people to play with, so I can invite Alex to play, but you can't be in an Xbox Live party with them. It'll pop up a message saying, the game is not designed this way, please leave the party before you can continue. Because we did attempt to join a party halfway through, only because we had a problem with the game. So the mechanic in the game for talking is that you get walkie-talkies to talk to each other. If you're both talking into them, you won't hear what the other person is saying, so they will override each other. So we had to get into the habit of saying over when we were done talking, which I absolutely forgot a few times. And we just I'm like, I totally didn't say it. Find something else to say so I can say that and then say over. Otherwise, yeah.
It took a bit of an adjustment, but I think we got it down pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was also hilarious to anyone who was listening in on it. It sounded like we were truckers on CB radio.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, unfortunately for us, that broke partway through the 4th out of 7 puzzles. 7, yeah.
Yep.
So in the dungeon level, where you're walking around a dungeon, that, for whatever reason, just stopped working for us. We don't know if that was part of the game and it was like some mechanic that it was meant to do that, or whether the game just stopped working. But at that point, we just moved to Discord and just got into the party, the looking for group chat on Discord, and worked fine. What I also discovered, Matt, because you had said, because Matt had a map and his icons disappeared when I did an action. What that actually was there's a timer for that lever, that white lever you pulled, and when that timer runs out, the icons disappear.
Ah, I see.
So the
I was
writing
wondering what that
was
lever was for. Right.
Yeah, bring down the guiding light, which was that, and it was just really coincidental that it ran out as I hit the blue lever, the other lever on my side.
Oh,
so.
of course, right.
regardless, that hasn't explained any of the puzzle, so don't worry, you haven't missed out by listening to this. The game was reasonably simple. The only real trouble that we had was the spike puzzle. That one probably gave us the most difficulty, only because the way the instructions were written, and it was designed to be this way, the way they were written, it wasn't clear what your starting point in this room was. So the room is a 5x5 grid of tiles, and there's only one safe path through it. So if you step on a wrong tile, spikes come up, you die, you have to go through. And you're given some symbols to tell your partner, and those symbols will basically allow him to tell you the clues that get you through the maze. But there were things like it would say, before starting in the west, take one step east. So we weren't really sure if you had to get onto the westmost tile and then take a step east and then start doing things, or, deciphering that was the only marginal problem we had. Once we figured out where we had to start, the rest of it was pretty simple. I think the puzzles were pretty well conceived and well designed to encourage communication and confusion.
Yes.
The symbols are deliberately similar so that you may get confused if you don't describe them properly. There's an instance where you have to describe a painting because the other person sees paintings with a bunch of symbols, and they're very similar. Some of them are essentially identical except for one minor detail, and if you don't explain it well enough, your partner can get confused and you die, and you have to retry the puzzle again.
It sounds a lot like that game, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yeah, except you can do that by yourself. What? Who said that?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. But no, it was pretty good. The theater, the final puzzle, caused us a little bit of trouble because Matt couldn't hear properly. And there was a word that was saying life, and he thought it was saying light. And it was also, the audio was it was playing through a gramophone, so it was kind of slightly distorted as well, just because it was trying to be from that era where gramophones would have existed. The other thing is Matt's colorblind, so...
There were a couple of puzzles I had trouble with.
There were a couple of puzzles, like the green eye. Well, there are green eyes and red eyes, and they look the same to me, buddy. I'm like, oh no. Where he had to ask Allison what color it was. But that's not no fault of the game. That's just, unfortunately, Matt's eyes are stuffed.
I'm just deficient, basically, unfortunately.
Yeah. He's just less of a person.
Matt's colorblind. You're partially blind.
Go left. What? Go what way? Sorry.
The first thing we did say is that it was going to be the blind leading the blind when it came to this game, and it very much was.
Literally, the first puzzle was colors.
Yeah. It was colors and it was eyes.
Yeah. Hilarious. Yeah, so that was We Were Here. I would highly recommend it. You'll probably take, at most, 2 hours to get it done. The guides are great. The puzzles, the chess puzzle always stays the same, and the theater puzzle always stays the same. So if you sort of memorize what you have to do, those are pretty... And the dungeon stays the same as well. The other puzzles randomized, but they're not that different. Like, they're you do one thing in a room, the next time you might do the other thing in the room. You're not differing too much. But no, it's well done.
The one thing I would say is when you're going through the dungeon puzzle, if you're the explorer, make sure you press the red lever quite a few times to get a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
bash that. Don't do it
like
if you
and
want your
subscribe button.
Yeah. If you're doing that on your perfect playthrough, don't. But if you're just playing blind, do that. Yeah. Because some of the achievements popped especially when we hadn't done the thing. Like I died in the chess puzzle, and that respawned me just before the chess puzzle, which was in the dungeon. And as I exited the dungeon, it gave me, "Oh, you played the dungeon perfectly. Good job." When I was just sort of walked out through the ending, so the trigger point was clearly at that part. So, I don't know. It's bugged in your benefit.
The best kind of bugs.
Yeah, best kind. Next up, Super Dodgeball Beats. This is look, it's a rhythm game with a dodgeball themed action on the screen. There's no actual dodgeball happening in terms of what you're doing. You listen to music. You have notes that you push. So you've got 4 players or 3 players and a mascot on your side. One is up, one is down, one is left, one is right, and that's your face buttons. As a note comes up, you either press it or hold it and release, or there are some notes that connect sides, so the left might be connected to the right. You just push your left stick to the right in the timing and then release it. So, pretty basic rhythm game. The music's pretty good. Because it's a sports-themed one, you have a power-up meter that builds as you perform well, and you use one of either the bumpers or the triggers to throw that power-up, and it will have an effect, a predetermined effect based on the power-up. So the power-up you get is random, but all the effects you'll learn as you play. The majority of the list is simple, or at least seems simple enough. There's one achievement that I think will give me trouble, and that's to get an average platinum in the legendary tournament. So in the hardest difficulty, average platinum scores. Platinum, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be pretty close, so very few mistakes. That'll probably take me a few attempts. Everything else seems pretty reasonable. One tip just to knock it out early is I did the tutorial mission, or I did a training. So in your options are championship, multiplayer, training. I went to training, did one match, and at the end screen where it said, "You won," I was just sort of trying out the buttons. I clicked in the right stick, and it popped up the "You won" screen again and gave me the experience again. So then I did it a third time, and it happened, and I leveled up. So then I just did it until I'd leveled up to the max level and gotten all the power-ups and stuff. Because you don't have all the power-ups unlocked at the start. You unlock them as you level up. So, within 2 minutes I'd unlocked everything, and there's an achievement tied to leveling up max. So that's relatively simple. But yeah, no, it's a fun game. I don't know how much it costs because I got a code for it, but I would recommend it if it's probably in that 10 to 15 range. Wouldn't go more than 15 because there's 13 songs at 3 difficulties, and then the multiplayer is the same thing against someone local. That's pretty much it. There's not a huge amount of replayability, but it's fun for what it is. Ash's Cricket. It's in Game Pass, and if you have any understanding of cricket at all, you can get most of the achievements done pretty quick. I got everything except 4 achievements done in about 4 hours, and those 4 achievements are the 2 grindy ones, 1 luck-based, and the online. So my grindy ones are making 2,500 runs, getting 200 wickets. I have my play 5 online matches, so I don't even need to win. You can have the opponent quit out, or just both sides declare after 1 ball and then you end it. And to reverse an umpire's decision. That's the luck-based one. And that's just going to come down to me playing and doing a bunch of LBWs.
DRS?
And
All DRS.
Just do a bunch of LBWs and keep appealing, and either they say yes or no, and then you just go challenge, and eventually it'll pop, probably.
Just like real cricket.
Yeah, just like real cricket. Keep appealing, and eventually they'll give up and say, yes, he was out.
But do you guys know that about Super International Cricket on the Super Nintendo?
No.
So, I don't know if this is true, but I heard a rumour about it, and one of my best friends has actually got the game. But when you say you got close to getting someone out, there was a button, I don't remember what button it was, but you'd be like, how's that? And just keep appealing. And if you appealed for long enough,
Hey, just
the rumour is that the game would just be like, give them out. because you appealed long enough.
That's great.
I don't know if it was supposed to be a glitch in the game or something. So when you're talking about that,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it was. How's that? How's that?
Did
How's that?
your friend's
How's that?
uncle
Okay,
work at Nintendo?
No, don't. No.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Does he know
I've just.
Mr. Nintendo?
He passed away, didn't he?
Mr.
Iwata?
Yeah, that's
Isn't
not
he Mr. Nintendo?
his name's not Nintendo, is it?
Yeah, but you know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
but
about.
I'm friends with Mr. Microsoft, so like,
Oh, yeah, my dad works at Microsoft.
yeah. And well,
Yeah,
my uncle
yeah.
does.
My dad, Bill, you know?
That's
Bill?
my uncle.
Yeah. Oh, your uncle. Hey, we're related. All right, cool. So I'm having a look at these achievements here, and I've had a look at some of the guides. It looks like a lot of them you do against a second controller.
Yeah, most
Is that
of
what
it,
you were doing for most of
it
them?
you can get done either with a second controller or simming. So, yeah, Ashes wins. You can sim and performing really well in the Ashes series. You can just sim through the matches until you get it. The only one I played against an actual computer was one for getting 3 catches in an innings, only because I was awful at lofting the ball in such a way that I would get caught as playing both controllers. So I just kept throwing Yorkers until they lofted it and I'll get a catch.
I'm just thinking about all the Americans and non-Australian or English, all the other cricketing countries around. It's like, what do you mean lofting? Well, they probably get lofting, but
Yorkers.
Yorker, they're going to be like, is that a dog? What are you talking
Just
about?
throw the
I
dog
kept
at the
throwing
bat.
dogs until they got out.
Yorkies. Did he say Yorkies? What does that mean?
I mean, it's literally only America. Basically, everywhere else has cricket.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although the
It's
Americans
real
might know
world
cricket
game.
because Afghanistan might have taught them.
Well, I mean,
Afghanistan's got a good cricket team,
they do actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
or at
They
least
have that bowler.
an up and coming one.
It's just
They have
all
Ebola.
over it. No, that awesome bowler. I don't remember what his name is. He is an absolute gun.
Yeah, not literally. That means he's very
Sorry.
good. I just
Yeah,
I don't want
It's a
to.
colloquial Australian term. He is a very, very fine.
The Afghanistan
bowling
bowler
sensation.
is a gun.
Sorry.
I'd like 2 Afghanistan bowlers, please.
He always
Rapid
always
is he a
hits
fast
his
bowler?
target.
Yeah.
Straight
Like
shooter.
a pump action shotgun, a Glock, and an Afghanistani bowler.
Gets him leg side every time.
Oh boy. They always go down with the LBWs.
Back on the video game. So there's a solution on True Achievements that essentially when you've set it up with 2 controllers to get a lot of runs, you can hit the ball so that it doesn't reach the boundary, and then you can just keep calling runs, and they'll just keep running forever until like your second controller will throw it back to either the bowler or the wicket keeper, but they won't actually try and get it out unless you push one of the buttons to try.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's awesome. I set a timer for an hour, got my Cronus going so it would go. And this was right when Matt said we should play We Were Here. So I stopped after half an hour, said, oh, I got about 200 runs. Okay, that's 400 an hour. So I think at that time I needed about 2,000. So I'm like, oh, about 5 hours of idling. Easy peasy, no problem. So set it up to go overnight. Got up the next morning. The guy had only made 180 runs. After 8-9 hours,
Maybe
which
he
is
got tired.
clearly not correct. So either something goes wrong. There's some either pressing it too fast doesn't make it the run count, or they just cap it sometimes. I don't know, but I think it's just going to be easier for me to just hit 456s to get the remaining runs I need. It's just frustrating that didn't work, and now I'm going to have a massively inflated playtime because I left it idling overnight to little effect.
Did you finished off the online stuff that you needed to do?
In that, no, I haven't done it yet. So if you want to get on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's not good for my completion percentage, but
It's an
if I get
easy
them all done, that's
3KTA
great
game.
for it. Yeah, I know, that's what's tempted me.
I might
My
also
ratio's
jump on
gone
that.
under 1.6 and I want to...
I know, me too.
Ooh.
I'm on the wrong side of it. Alright, quick ratio check.
Yeah, quick ratio.
You keep talking about your games. I'll check mine and yours.
1.5936.
It looks like this whole
5900.
this whole like two controllers, mess around with the game, get all the achievements. Like it's like we're back in 2006.
Yeah,
like the old Maddens and stuff.
Or playing any rugby game.
NHL 2K6.
Yeah, 2K6 or Mad 06 or whatever. Just get 1,000 achievements in a single game. 1.77 for me, by the way.
Yeah, but
nice.
You're better than us in every regard we would want. You're better than us in completion percentage, in ratio, in Gamerscore. Yeah, he's higher than you. He's a 93 or more.
And 92.26 with all DLC.
Yeah, with all DLC, buddy boy.
It's not real. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Mr. Pretend 91.
Hey, when I get to 95, I'll turn it off. I already said this when I get to 95. And until you encouraged me to do random to-do lists, I was at 93.5, I think it was. So.
I didn't pressure anyone to do anything they didn't want to. That's why Neo didn't join.
I was... All right, no, absolutely not.
I need to finish this.
Let's do Ashes anyway. Let's do Ashes, and you can help me with What the Box. It'll be great.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll reinstall it then.
Just not on Saturday because there's a big game on.
Yeah, oh, not for you.
Yeah, I got robbed.
You almost robbed them, so don't even...
I'm sorry. You can't go up in the ruck and hold the ruckman's ponytail.
You also can't kick a goal that comes off someone else's hands.
Yeah, well, that was pretty tough to see. And they got one back when they pushed Grundy straight out of the ruck and kicked the goal. So you can't do that in the ruck.
So then it's even Stevens.
Not on that.
You got one.
Pull someone's hair in the ruck. You can't pull someone's hair.
You got one you shouldn't have. They probably got one they shouldn't have from that.
Yeah, they got more
that sounds like it's even Stevens. They got more than... How did they get more than one from one incident?
Quarter. Anyway, let's not talk about this because I'm already salty about it. And
scheming through the zombie apocalypse, the beginning. So
let's talk about zombies instead. That's more comfortable than this garbage umpiring.
This is my weekly Ratalaika rundown because this is last week's Ratalaika title. It's claimed to be a point-and-click adventure game. I would argue it's like 90% visual novel, but not static images, moving, kind of like an FMV game, but without the FMV part.
Don't you control that on True Achievements?
I do. I'm gonna raise it, but I'm not gonna force it upon them. I'm gonna bring it out for discussion with them. So 90% of the game is just dialogue choices. So you pick a dialogue choice and an action, and something happens from that, or you are looting, and that involves two screens pop up, your inventory, the inventory of the thing you're looting. You just click it, the loot, and it moves to the other side. So it's not super in depth. And then everything else is dialogue. There are two sections where you do a teeny tiny bit of point and click adventure moving, but it's literally just it's like one static screen, and you either are walking somewhere, which you have no reason to actually walk because you can just move the cursor over to the people you want to talk to and click on them, and you'll walk over there and talk. So the actual moving, there's no need for it because you can just move your cursor further and talk. So you have to do 2 playthroughs. First playthrough is about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes going by the video walkthroughs. And then once you complete it, you unlock a fast forward button. So that just basically fast forwards through all of the dialogue up to your choice, and then you make your choice and you just keep going. So your second playthrough takes about 20 minutes, maybe, if that. So it's about 2 hours to finish if you're following a guide. The thing that confused me was both guides I looked at, both video guides, did what kind of seemed like the longer playthrough first. The one that got you more achievements, but put you through more dialogue options and more dialogue in general, as opposed to doing the shorter playthrough that's quicker. Doesn't get you as many achievements, probably, but it's quicker, and then you get the fast forward button sooner. Like that.
Does the second does the other route still give you the fast forward button?
Yep, you fast forward through. I don't know if it does. I assume it's just a completing the game thing, and once the credits roll, but I could still forward through the bits of dialogue I hadn't seen in my first playthrough. So maybe that's just me. That feels like it's backwards logic doing the longer thing, especially when there's no actual action happening on the screen. It's literally just like 2 dialogue options come up, and you can take as much time as you want, or you can take 0 time, and it won't, like, the action doesn't move till you make a decision. It's not like a Telltale where you've got a timer running down, and so it seems backwards to do the longer one first, but I don't know, maybe there's a reason for that. What I might do is I might just write a guide in the forums of just the dialogue options that you need to pick, because to be honest, nothing else really matters. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a look, the comedy's pretty good, as you kind of need for a point and click adventure. You're all animals, so like you are a old rabbit and your partner is a dog, and you're convincing other animals to go into places and scavenge for you to get supplies for you, and you can sort of like say, oh, you'll get 90% of the loot, but like you convince a gazelle, and then the area that she's in has a coyote zombie, and the coyote zombies are very fast, so you can either tell her to get out of there or essentially abandon her to die. And but there's all different animals and stuff like that. It's pretty funny, pretty interesting. One of my favorite parts is every time you interact with the Wombat, whose name I don't know, but he's mentally challenged.
Oh.
And so like you kind of feel bad, but you, like, all the other ones you've had to convince, we're really good guides and you'll definitely get the best loot. You go up to him and it's like, hey buddy, we are going to invite you to go scavenge with us. And I know what you might say, why would we? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Now we're friends. Yeah. And you kind of feel bad manipulating him, especially in the achievement that requires you to let him get punched by some bulls for a bit.
Oh, that's awful.
Because and he's literally like, oh, look, new friends. Yeah, big friends. Yeah. And then, because they're from earlier, and they recognize you, and they're not happy because you were mean to them. And they essentially start beating up, and you have to tell them that he's mentally challenged. You're beating up a retarded wombat. And then they stop. And he comes out, and he's like, they were not good friends.
Aww.
I'm like, oh,
that's awful.
I know. Especially because he's got a really dumb look on his face too.
Of course he does. Jeez.
But no, it's a good game. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's $5.99 US. It's well worth it. It's much better than Distraint, which I played last week. But really good game. It's a bit long for a Ratalaika, sort of in that middle ground at 2 hours, which is weird to say that that's long, but it is Ratalaika. But no, it's very good, and hopefully I'll have that dialogue guide up in the forums, nice and easy. But that got me 4,895 Gamerscore for the week. Matt, what have you been doing?
So, bit of cleanup this week, really. So, like we talked about, we played We Were Here. Really good. Highly recommend it. It's like Chin said, it's a short one. Puzzles are fun. You do have to play through it twice, one as the librarian, one as the explorer. But yeah, try and use the walkie-talkie mechanic, because it does make the game a lot more fun and like a bit more of a game rather than just talking to each other normally. I'm also really looking forward to the sequel. I know it's been on Steam for a little bit. I think I saw a bit of a playthrough of one.
So We Were Here 2 or something?
We Were Here
I think
2
it just came out on Xbox.
I think
2nd of October it comes out.
Yeah, so it's about to come out. Yeah, so I think
maybe it's just the announcement I saw.
I think it's
And look, to
available
be honest,
for pre-order.
Yeah, it's $8 as opposed to We Were Here, which is $5. And I'd probably pay the $8 for it, because We Were Here was so good that I'd buy the sequel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a slightly longer and a bit more of an involved game as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to. So we'll definitely jump on that at some stage. And there's also nothing quite. There's nothing quite as appealing as when you're trying to figure out a puzzle and you hear Chin on the other line being, the room's filling up with water. The room's filling up with water. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You need to fix this. You need to fix this. The room's filling up with water. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And I get it at the last second.
It was literally, I was having to look up to keep the water from covering my screen. That's how bad it got. And I was like, I've done something wrong. Clearly I needed to do something and I have not done it. And not knowing that Matt's sitting there going, I don't know what one the red one is. I'm really sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, so process of elimination, I managed to get it. But there's that one and then the chess puzzle as well, where it's like, well, I can't see anything, so this is going to be really hard. But definitely worth playing.
You're moving the black pieces as well. Oh. Yeah, Matt, I am.
Yeah.
I don't know how the bishop gets there. I really don't. What? Okay. No, that was wrong. Matt's like, the video, I don't know how that's wrong. What are you...
Here I was, I thought he was playing against an invisible other player, but hey, you know.
Clear communication is very important.
Yes. So yeah, highly recommended. We'll definitely do the sequel. I finished up Metro 2033 Japan. Still a great game. Still well worth playing, especially if you understand Japanese, or you played through the game like 3 other times, which I have, thankfully. I did run into an issue with the Explorer achievement, where I didn't get that on my first playthrough. And I'm gonna blame the walkthrough for this one. I'm not normally the guy who bags on the TA walkthroughs too much, but this one, if you have an achievement like that with collectibles, if you're pointing out collectibles, point out the collectibles. Like, do it. But also, point out things that, So basically the Explorer achievement is that you need to go through certain areas within the levels as you explore them. So you need to find, like, dead bodies of enemies to loot them, hidden areas, secret passages, sneaky vents and walkways and that sort of thing. So I managed to pop it. I had to do another playthrough, but I managed to pop it about 2/3 of the way through the game. Which thankfully only took me a few hours because it's not a very super long game if you're sort of speedrunning it. But I would advise to use. There's actually a walkthrough on GameFAQs. I would highly recommend using that one. That one has all the ammo locations. It has all of the moral points that you need to get the good ending, and it has pretty much all the Explorer stuff that you should get it by the time you get to the Outpost level, about halfway through that. So I would, and it also has all the changes between the original game with the DLC, and the Redux version, and then the Redux version in Hardcore. So the changes between them. So it actually has separate cutouts in the guide to tell you, okay, this section is about this section doesn't apply to you here. It's actually very, very well detailed. So I would highly recommend it. Like I said, still a great game. If you haven't played it, grab the normal version, play through it. It's fantastic. I also finished up Yooka-Laylee. So I decided that
The whole game?
Yeah, so I finally went up. I started it for UHH. Was it last year? I think we had UHH. I don't think we had it this year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, so I had got 100 pages or so just for the 100 pages achievement. I think it showed up in one of my UHH achievements. And I put it down. And there's 145 in the game, so I was about 2/3 of the way through it. I'd finished up the first 2 worlds, and I still had to clean up worlds 3 through 5. And I decided, well, I seriously need some TA for this week to get me above the line for the competition for G-Task. So I popped it in, and I realized that you needed 100 pages to go fight the final boss, so I just went and beat him. Wasn't too difficult, got him my first or second try. I beat him by 1. I had 1 life left when I died, so it was very, very close. And then...
Which boss is that one? That's not the one that you fight against in the water, is it?
No, it's Capital...
On the space planet world?
No, that's the 5th one. There's one right after that in Hivory Towers.
Oh...
okay. You got to fight Capital B.
Oh, yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, and he is a real Capital B, to be honest. The mechanics aren't too bad, but like he's got 4 phases, so it does take quite a while, and you do need to be a bit careful because you don't really get any health pickups or anything like that. Highly advise you get the tonic that gives you the extra butterfly. So I did that, and I got the achievement. I thought, you know what, I might as well just clean this game up while I'm here. I've got 3 worlds, and I've done about half the stuff in. So I went back and did those. Most of the stuff was pretty easy. It was actually still it was a really good game. I quite enjoyed it. It was a bit hard to go back because there's not really good indications of what pages you found and which ones you haven't, unless you go through and redo the challenge or something like that. So obviously I picked up a few in each of the worlds, so I just had to sort of tick them off the list. And obviously there are a few quills around. There's 200 quills per world that you need to collect. So I mean, the game's a massive collectathon, as you'd expect from that sort of Rare-esque type of game, the 3D platformer. But the worst parts by far are the cart sections where you got to collect the gems. Those mini games are absolutely awful. I just don't understand.
You reckon?
I think they're not difficulty wise they're not too bad, but the 4th and 5th one, like the 4th one especially,
they're the only ones I haven't played.
Right, so
I've played the first 3 and they were fine.
Yeah, so the 4th one, you need to get, I think it's 150 gems, and you need that to fight the 4th boss. So the 4th boss shows up afterwards, and it's a whole you're on the cart the whole time. Also, that's actually one of my favorite jokes of the game is the whole Kartos thing. So it's based on a joke in, I think it was Euro magazine when God of War 3, I think it was, came out. On the front page, they had misprinted Kartos is back instead of Kratos. And
okay,
and that's the reason the guy's called Kartos, because he's also a minecart, which is why Laylee asked him if he's the god of ore.
Okay.
Right, yeah. So it
nice.
all comes together. It's a bit inside baseball,
Wow.
but yeah, it's a very involved joke. I mean, it's a little bit more involved than the snake who wears pants called Trouser, but
that's one of my.
Yeah, but that's pretty tops.
That's pretty good though. Yeah, no, it's pretty great. But I'd say it's definitely worth playing through. Those cart levels are a little bit annoying, and I'm not a huge fan of the mini games, the little like retro arcade mini games. I mean, most of them are okay, but a couple of them are just not a lot of fun. It's not really the kind of thing I wanted to play the game
That
for.
racing one where you're just doing laps.
Yeah.
That was not fun.
Yeah, there's the racing one, and then there's another one that's a endless runner, where you're just on like a racetrack and you have to move back and left and right to try and make sure you get through the gaps. And of course you have to do each of them twice. One of them you have to finish them, and then the last one, the next time you have to beat the high score. And if you beat the high score the first time, it doesn't count. You have to beat the high score the second playthrough.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I got really close on one of them.
Yeah.
Lucky you didn't get it.
I just assumed he'd give me 2.
Nope, gives you one, makes you do it again. Oh, and the last one for the last world is basically Flappy Bird, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, no.
Easy, no problem.
It just takes me 4 tries. I'm ChinDocta.
Mate,
Yeah, all right, mate.
First try.
In all fairness, I got a second try
right.
because it's a lot easier because you can actually move back and forth. You're not stuck on a single plane, so you can kind of guide your way around it a little bit.
Jump and zip through.
Kind of, yeah. You can just do a bit of a hop. But I'd say highly recommend it. It's not a terribly difficult game. I think I got it done just under 20 hours, 15, 20 hours, somewhere around there. The boss fights are good. The humor is a bit juvenile, but still pretty funny. And the worlds are nice and varied, especially that last one where you're in the whole space stuff. There's a whole mini golf.
It's really weird, that one. Yeah.
It is. It's kind of trippy. But once you get the fly ability, the game really just opens up, and you can basically cheese most of the early levels. But I would definitely say, I mean, if you haven't played it already, grab it when it's on sale. It's on sale relatively often, so I would definitely recommend it. And I also ran into an achievement glitch with it. I know that the game had quite a few glitches with achievements before it was patched when it first came out. So I ran into one for beating the 4th boss. I didn't get the achievement. I was freaking out a bit because I didn't really want to play through 2/3 of the game again to get to it. But thankfully, going to the achievement page seemed to unlock it. So, no problems there. Also, my favorite joke was when you're going through the game, you find these pages, and they're in cages, and you have to try and unlock the cages to get them out. So there's a part, like the very last one that you get in a cage. He's like, oh, the cage is broken. I can't get out. And they're like, well, maybe... He's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, oh, maybe I'll just slip through the bars. He just slides out because he's a page. He just slips out of the side of the bar, and he's like, wait a minute. I just spent 10 hours... collecting you guys, breaking you guys out of cages, and you could have just slipped out of the bars the whole time. And he's like, oh, yeah, never really thought about it, to be honest. So, yeah. It's great. Yeah. So there's it's pretty
good.
it's pretty fantastic. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And then the last one I've been playing is on Chin's recommendation, Riddled Corpses EX.
I bought this on Chin's recommendation as well.
Yeah,
I haven't started it yet though.
it's I'm really bad at these games. I'm so bad at these games. I was
It's
struggling.
a twin stick shooter, right?
Yeah, twin stick shooter, but it's a kind of roguelike where you can level up your character based on how much gold you get in the level. So it's kind of a war of attrition. You can basically bash your head against it until you finish it, for the most part.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to the stage where I was so bad at it that I basically leveled up all the characters already, and I still haven't finished the story mode.
But I saw you'd done arcade mode.
Yeah, so
which is the harder one.
Yeah, the harder bit. So I unlocked the final character who has all of the abilities. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, I'll use them. And on arcade mode, you start at level 1 and you just collect upgrades as you go along. So it was actually easier doing that than it is the main mode. So I think I just need to level up this last character and finish up levels 5 and 6, and that'll be it. So I might get it done tomorrow, hopefully. I was hoping to get it done before the show, but I just ran out of time. So it's a fun enough game. It's a great sort of like, don't really pay attention, especially for the grind. You pick the character who gets ×2 gold. You just play the fourth level over and over and over again, and you just level up everything to max.
Yeah.
And you just, watch a show at the same time or whatever. It's not super involved. So, I mean,
it would be nice if that grind wasn't as bad. I think that grind essentially like doubles the time you need to play, which is
agreed.
Not great, but it's it's a double of 4 hours, so it's not egregious where it's doubling 50 to 100 or something.
Yeah, and playing through arcade mode was fun. I'm glad that the last level is basically just a boss fight, so I was really stressing out about it. So the third level is actually one that I hate the most because you're on a track and you have to move.
The desert?
No, the desert's the second one. The third one's the one where you're on the motorway and you have to move the bike and try not hit the barriers.
Yeah.
Not great. Short level, but just, a real pain.
Yeah,
So
not the best.
no, just not the kind of mechanics. So I'm really not a twin stick shooter guy myself. Any kind of shmup, I'm just absolutely awful at. So hopefully I'll get this one done, and then we'll see what the next one. I think I've got a few on my list that I need to do at some stage. So, but yeah, a bit of a quiet week for me. 2,790 achievement Gamerscore this week.
Wow, that is quiet. Anyone who got less than that should be ashamed. Alex, what'd you play this week?
Great podcasting right now. I'm holding up a special signal to Chin to let him know to what I think about his comment there. Lucky I wasn't on last week because I smashed it last week. Anyway, that's fine. So I've just picked a couple of games that I've been playing over the past couple of weeks. Just talk about them a little bit. So the first one I've been doing is Plague Inc. Evolved. So there's 140 something achievements in this game, which is very good for my regaining my completion percentage. So, what is it? 137, including the 37 in the DLC. So there's 100 achievements in the base game. So what I did when I was working through the walkthrough, geez, say that 5 times fast, I accidentally triggered one of the DLC packs. I unlocked 4 achievements in one of the DLCs. So I now have to get 80 more achievements before the end of the year. And I'm trying to recover that completion percentage. I got it down to 5.2 achievements a day, every day for the rest of the year. And now it's back up. I think it's 5.6. I've written 5.5 here in my notes, but I'll double check. 5.6 every day. So in terms of the game, it's a strategy game where you pick a plague and you mutate it and evolve it and the way it transmits the disease around the place to infect everyone and then kill everyone in the world. It's very unforgiving at times. Like this, I'm struggling with this zombie virus at the moment. The cure just gets it's so quickly cured. It's ridiculous. But I am enjoying a lot of the game. There's a lot of funny things in there. I find like some of the combos that you can make when you evolve certain things. So I think, for example, when you evolve diarrhea and sneezing as 2 things at the same time, you have a very high chance of what's it? The oops combo, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So when you sneeze, you also diarrhea at the same time. So I don't know. I find that toilet humor quite funny, but there's a lot of different combos like that I find amusing. There is a lot of RNG in the game, and I hate that in games. I like to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. One of the achievements I'm coming up on, the guide's like, all right, now we're going to do one of the hardest achievements in the game. Oh. In the first couple of minutes of the game, you have to get this pop-up randomly, and for me, it took about 40 plus times. And I'm like, oh, great. It's going to be one of those. Chin would just do it on the first try because he's Chin.
I think that pop-up took me... I mean, it probably took me 30 to 50 attempts, but it's waiting for the next and going... Because I know what achievements you're talking about, and that's the ones to do, like, the 3 scenarios with each plague on... and get 3 stars on it, essentially. And...
Yeah, I clicked through. I'm not up to doing those scenarios yet, but that's where I clicked through it and I was reading about it. So finished them on Mega Brutal or something.
Yeah. So it's really tough because to get 3 stars, you have to be very quick with destroying the planet. But then you also kind of go, okay, it hasn't happened by now. Maybe if I just wait a little bit longer, it'll happen, and the thing I'm waiting for will happen. And you restart so many times, you think, no, this save is just stuffed. It's definitely not RNG not working for me. It's just that the save is stuffed and I need to start a new set. Like, you question yourself a lot. I don't think I've done it on... Oh, I maybe have done it with one of the non-easy viruses. But, look, it's tough. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to the game and get those 3 done, to be honest.
Well, I'm hoping to get it... I'm hoping to get it done. I don't know that I'll be able to get it done, but, we'll see how that works. But it's helping me work towards those 5.6 achievements a day at the moment. So, it's doing what it needs to. I also played Boss 101, so I finished up all the achievements for this one last week. What? Have you changed this typing in here, Chin?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I've written, wow, this game is great, and you've written not great. Thanks for that.
I didn't do anything.
It's really good. What do you not like about this game?
It's just boring.
I think it's
boring
fine.
And short. The game was fine. The game was a solid 6.5 for me. But there's nothing outstanding for me.
Matt,
I just did that to I was just hoping you would Ron Burgundy it.
Ron Burgundy, yeah, okay.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah.
I'm like, did I write that?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I enjoy playing through it. The kind of the slightly RNG nature of some of it is not super great. With getting all the, trying to make sure you build all the things. I mean, you just got to
and the
hats
visitors and whatever.
Visitors and randomizing the stuff to make sure you fight all the pieces of all the enemies. But I think the game itself is fine, but it does really grind on for quite a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I found that it was probably just the right length. The only problem I had was that when I played this for Random To-Do List, I didn't watch the tutorials.
Oh.
And one of the hats you get is for watching the tutorial. Now, I went and had a look at the guides, and you can actually reset the tutorials in the options. The guide doesn't mention this.
Right.
But it does mention it was tied to something else.
There's another achievement for doing all the tutorials.
Yeah, for getting all of Burl's tutorials in all of the different rooms.
Yeah.
So even when I turned the tutorials back on and did that, it didn't give me that achievement. No. So I had to, after I finished all the other achievements, I went back and started the game again. Replayed levels over and over and over again until I could unlock the debug mode. And then I heard all of Burl's tutorials. But I found the humour in the game, the childlike juvenile interactions between Max and his jetpack bot. I don't remember what his name is, actually. I thought it was,
Steve.
No, it wasn't Skip. Steve, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. But I thought that was pretty... I thought it was juvenile and fun. and the interactions between those two and the professor and the other bot. I don't remember what his name is either.
Bot.
But and between Boss 101 and them, I don't know. I found it interesting. It wasn't super high quality writing or anything, but even when you go into a boss fight and they have a few interactions back and forth, that's where the game shined for me. The boss fights they're all right. They're nothing to write home about, but it was fun. It was a fun little story, and rescuing the gophers. It was the right amount of challenge, and if it stayed any longer, it would be.
Yeah.
Certainly overstaying its welcome.
I'm with you on that. I think that maybe the one thing is that I'm of two minds about it, because the problem with the game is also the thing I like about it the most, is that you essentially level up one weapon and you just use the same weapon for every enemy for the most part, and you just absolutely destroy them with the regular gun. Which is great, because it's like, cool, I don't have to learn weird strategies, or I don't have to min-max the whole game. I can just kind of breeze my way through it for the most part, just get a bit good about dodging the attacks and just blasting everything. But also that makes the game, 31 plus bosses, plus the boss rushes that you have to do, of just sitting there holding down the same button with the same attack, using the same patterns over and over and over again, because they don't change up that much.
See, and
I think that's a fair statement.
I've played it for way less than any of you. I don't know how I did it as quick as I did. It just, it took me 4 hours.
Yeah, I think I did it in 8.
8 is pretty much where everyone else is like, I don't know how it only took me 4. I don't know what I did that cut the time down that quick.
I mean, if you skipped all the cutscenes and you beat every boss on your first try, maybe.
Which once you run, I did skip all the cutscenes, but once you run the weapons to that point, you basically do beat the bosses on your first try. Yeah, I guess skipping the cutscenes makes a lot of sense, but I didn't know how I was halving the time that most people were doing.
I mean, you may have also got really lucky with the visitors as well, because that was the part that took me quite a while.
Fair point. I think I only had one at the end that I didn't have. Or that, and it was one of those
I was really
ones,
lucky.
It was one of those ones where it was documented where you get him. Which
was it Ludwig? Was the one that I got stuck with. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one I needed to go back and get, was Ludwig.
And it was documented, so it was nice and easy.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's our little Boss 101 little roundup of that. But I also, straight after last time I was on the show, must be episode 58, I loaded up the Chapter 9 for Celeste. As normal, I use the assist mode, but the story starts out that Granny, who you meet on the mountain a few times, she's died. And Madeline gets the idea in her head that the bird who hung around her a whole lot is actually Granny, and we need to capture her and help her. So you end up chasing after it. And it sounds really bad on paper, but it actually works really well. It's really good, and you have the interaction back between actual Madeline and that purple Madeline, the evil Madeline, not evil Madeline, but that version of Madeline. I don't know what
Shadow
it's called.
Madeline, yeah.
But Shadow Madeline,
Shadowlin.
sure, that's a good name for it. You got the puns, man. You're on fire. So I assisted too hard, because I got to the second to last room in the game, and instead of going the right way, which is up to, I think, the top right hand corner, I ended up in the bottom right or bottom left hand corner, and I ended up in a secret room. And you go in the room and it's just all walls. I can't get out of the room, so I don't actually know what I'm supposed to do in there, but it looks like behind one of the walls there's an exit to one of those B-side rooms where you go through and get the tapes. So I actually had to watch the ending cutscene on YouTube, because I couldn't go back a room. I couldn't get out of the secret room. I couldn't get to the B-side. I couldn't do anything. So, I ended up watching this guy who streamed it, and he was the most annoying streamer I've watched in my life. But I really wanted to see the video, and it was straight after it came out. So hardly anyone had a video up.
Welcome to our new Let's Play streaming future.
It's like, oh my god, you mean that Madeline and, there's Theo's there as well. Oh my god, I can't believe this, you guys, I'm crying. Oh, shut
Madeline
up,
and Cameron.
mate. Like,
Yeah.
Cameron?
Yeah. Shadowless Madeline.
Okay, alright.
Okay.
Maybe it's my turn to leave the podcast.
Alright, well, anyway,
Please.
I'd fun that. I actually had some... I just wanted to shout out to Hat and 90, who we were having a good conversation about this during the week. I did say last time I was talking about it that I think that it would be a much more enjoyable, well, not enjoyable is not the right word, but a more powerful experience if you play it without assist mode. Unfortunately, I just suck so hard at these games that I'd be in the second world still if I didn't put assist mode on. But 870 Gamerscore for the week, so that's good fun. What are you holding up here? Sorry, Wombat. Oh boy. Get a social justice warrior to beat up a mentally disabled animal. Oh, that's an achievement.
That's Oh, and
boy.
you can see in the image that's the bull punching the wombat.
Well, that's going in the trophy case, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there was a sale that dropped earlier today as well, so we should probably talk about that. But in a second, we'll talk about the games added to or leaving Game Pass. So, Jin, what's going on?
Man, that was a whole mess of words.
It was a good recovery. It was a
Yeah.
great recovery. Let's not dwell on it. Let's talk about those Game Pass games.
So, as we briefly mentioned earlier, already in Game Pass, they were dropped September 19th, Jump Force and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Ritual of the Night I'm really surprised about because it's fairly new and was kickstarted. So it's kind of...
Yeah, but it also looks great and I want to play it, but they need to fix that unobtainable.
They do. There's other issues which are, to be honest, a bigger priority than the achievement, but yeah. September 26th, Bad North, which is a roguelite defend your island from Vikings game. Dirt Rally 2.0 and Lego Worlds is entering Game Pass. And at the end of the month, we have leaving Lego Indiana Jones, Shantae Half Genie Hero, Split Second, The Hunter, Call of the Wild, and Ninja Gaiden Black, which was an Xbox original, so no achievements lost there. But that's 5 games out, 5 games in, and probably more announced later today at the Inside Xbox, whatever. We do have a game that's been delisted. It'll Do 2 has been delisted. The developer got screwed over by Nisalis because they're just apparently awful publishers, and they got into some argument with them and were saying, no, we're not publishing with you anymore. Give us the game and rights to publishing back, and which was all fine in their contract or whatever. And Nisalis just put it off for 6 months and then pulled them from the store. So the developer is attempting to relist them or undelist them or whatever, but worst case scenario, he said he'll have to republish, which could mean a stack, which would be nice, because usually a republishing means it has to have a new ID, which means a new achievement list, but we'll see. But that's delisted games. We have Gamerscore games, don't we, Matt?
We have so many of them. It's been a good week for Gamerscore games, actually. So we've got Adventure Time, Pirates of the Enchiridion, 50% off at $9.99, although it was games with gold, so you should already have it. Battleship, 60% off, $5.99. Not a bad game. Well, it is a bad game because it's Battleship, but it's relatively simple. Just watch out for, I think it's Mission 21.
Orcs.
Or also Orcs, yes. Ben 10, 50% off, $9.99. I'm thinking about picking that one up, actually, because I know you can get it on disc, but, I like Ben 10. Black Mirror.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I like the show back when I used to watch it when I was a kid.
Yeah, this is new Ben 10.
No, that's true, yeah, sorry, it's just reinvented Ben 10.
It's weird, but...
Black Mirror, 85% off, not related to the TV show or anything. It's actually a sort of Cthulhu-esque point-and-click adventure with some spooky Scottish elements.
Yeah. The one related to the TV show is Fighting Vipers, and that's backwards compatible. I think it's a 400 Gamerscore.
That's slightly different. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, 50% off for $19.99. Nice. I mean, Call of Duty's great. I'm a huge fan of the original Modern Warfare, and it's a relatively easy completion. And I believe you can use a sort of a checkpoint trick to get through the veteran difficulty, so you can play it on easy.
And there's a difficulty trick for Mile High Club as well.
Oh, great.
So yeah, you can. I think you basically get up to the last point on easy, and then you do some dashboarding stuff and change it to veteran, and then literally just shoot the last guy, and that's done.
Yeah, so don't screw that up. Cars 3, Driven to Win. It's a Cars game. Not much more to say about that. Cronus Arc, 40% off for $8.99. That's a Chemco game, I believe. So that's probably in my list somewhere that I need to play. Clouds and Sheep 2, 75% off for $2.49. I have this. I've been thinking about starting it. It's listed as a simulation game, which I don't really understand how that's supposed to work. I think I need to find somebody who's actually finished it.
Alex, you played it?
No, I haven't played it. I've nearly bought it several times.
I mean, I don't know what else. It's just going to get like action otherwise, because essentially you just you just have the sheep, and it's hard to describe. You just do the task the sheep. So maybe you need to make more sheep, and you just click 2 sheep together, and they breed and stuff like that.
Is it like Keflings?
I haven't played enough of Keflings to say maybe. Definitely maybe.
Okay.
I might watch a video on it before I pick... Oh, I think I have it, so I'll play it at some stage, but I think I'll watch a video to get an idea if I actually want to... How soon I get to the backlog.
But it's just... it's not super quick is all.
Right. DreamWorks Dragons Dawn of the New Riders, 40% off for $23.99. I think that's still too expensive for sure. But it's the new How to Train Your Dragon game, apparently. Looks relatively simple. Gnome's Garden New Home, 60% off for $1.99. Don't play that. Gnome's Garden's terrible. Hexalogic, 25% off, $3.74. Okay, Gnome's Garden's fine. I'm just not a fan. Hexalogic, 25% off for $3.74. That's got a ridiculously low ratio, so it's a nice, easy one to jump on.
Static puzzles as well.
Yeah.
0 to 1 hour. Add that to the
with a guide, all the puzzles are static. If you enjoy math-based puzzles, I would recommend having a go by yourself, because I got through most of it by myself. I enjoyed it, and then I could just use the guide to mop up when I got bored of it. But yeah,
alright, I'm definitely going to grab that. Hotel Transylvania 3, Monsters Overboard, 50% off, $9.99. I think I picked this up. I'd planned to use it for my million or something along those lines, but I ran out of time for it. So who knows? Maybe it'll be my next 100,000 game. Human Fall Flat, 50% off, $7.49. Jen and I are big fans of this. Definitely pick that up, especially if you like ridiculous puzzles and physics and using some ridiculous axe trick to go over to skip most of the dark level.
I still can't believe that.
Yeah, that speedrun was ridiculous. I don't know how you...
The
how do you
under the
just...
map bit, I could probably do, but the axe jumping nonsense, I guess I've got to try it now, but I'm like...
Don't know how he figured that out. Metropolis Lux Obscura, 40% off, $4.79. It's a match 3 fighting game sort of thing.
Do not upload any clips for this game, right?
I was just going to say, don't stream it. Don't do any of that. You get in trouble. Is
it adult content?
Yes, there is some
nudity.
There is some adult content in
It's
it.
reasonably realistic. It works for any purpose you would want nudity. Just throwing that out there.
There is nudity in the game, yes. Thank you, Chin. Monopoly Plus, 70% off.
If you're lonely, it'll do the job.
I mean, I wouldn't want to play Monopoly by myself anyway, so...
yeah.
$4.49. Monopoly Plus, it's Monopoly.
Pass the controller multiplayer, which is nice. You don't need more than one controller to pop those achievements.
Nickelodeon Kart Racer, 50% off, $19.99, still too expensive.
Yeah.
Omega Strike, 70% off, $3.59. Actually, a really fun side-scrolling Metroidvania game with some interesting humor. It's a little bit basic. You only have a couple of enemy types and a couple of characters you can play as, and it's a bit repetitive. But I think it's fun, and for that kind of price, it's a nice, easy completion. Definitely worth going if you're into that sort of genre. Setherothic Stories, 40% off, $8.99. I think it's another Kemco game.
Yep, of course it is. With that kind of title.
Just taking a guess there. Yep. So probably the standard fare. Spyro Reignited Trilogy, 50% off, $19.99. This one I actually would recommend. Spyro is great, and there's quite a bit of content. It has all three of the original games, which are the best three. So you might as well jump on that. The first two, you need to get 100%. The last one, you can just get enough to fight the final boss. So if you're getting sick of it towards the end, don't fret. You don't have to do those damn skateboard bits. Strider, 80% off, $2.99. Another sort of side-scrolling Metroidvania, but with a bit more combat focus and melee. Pretty easy game. There's a speedrun achievement, but if you actually just follow a video and speedrun your first playthrough on normal, you'll get most of the achievements, and you can just get it out of the way straight away, and then you can just do a hard playthrough and mop up all the other stuff, because you'll need the upgrades to beat the bosses. Teslagrad, 60% off, $5.99. Another good sort of side-scrolling puzzler, I suppose would be the way to put it. I don't know, it's a... Yeah, I mean, there are some combat elements, but a lot of it is sort of working out puzzles, a lot to do with electricity, as the name would sort of suggest. Definitely recommended. They have also a sequel for it, which I think is World to the West, which is a pseudo-sequel set in the same world, but a completely different kind of game. Trivial Pursuit Live, 60% off, $5.99. Book of Unwritten Tales 2, 85% off, $2.99. A sort of standard side-scroll, sort of point-and-click with some puzzle elements. Nothing too exciting. It helps if you played the first one, but the first one was like a PC-only game, I think. But you pick it up pretty quick otherwise. Little Acre, 70% off, $3.89. Again, another sort of point-and-click adventure with some puzzles. The Raven Remastered, another point-and-click adventure with some puzzles. Ugly Dolls, An Imperfect Adventure, 40% off, $23.99. I don't actually know anything about this game.
Action adventure, mascot characters. That's basically all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not much really more you need to know. It's from those outright games who did everything. Paw Patrol, Pototrons, like they're the same group of people. So
gotcha.
It's all much a much.
Yeah, $23.99 is a bit steep, but hey.
Yeah, it's at that $40 pricing. So as they all are, yeah.
Uno, 50% off, $4.99. Again, make sure you don't put your vision camera on because you'll see things you can never forget. How do you pronounce this last one? This third one here.
I'm going to go with Varanya.
Varanya?
Varanye.
Varanye.
It's like Kanye, but Varanye.
Varanye MC.
Varange.
25% off, $7.49. Looks like a 2 to 3 hour point-and-click adventure.
Point-and-click adventure.
A lot of
with
point-and-clicks.
some puzzles.
A lot of point-and-clicks this week.
Yeah, massive amounts.
Woodle Tree Adventures, 40% off, $2.99. Fun to say, fun to play. This
definitely the first one. I don't know if it's fun to play.
It's fine. It's a nice, easy game. The only thing is that there's a bit of a grind at the end for collecting a bunch of stuff that you just.
There is a dash button. Lots of people don't realise.
Yes.
There is a dash button.
There is a dash button.
Or a sprint or whatever, so utilise it.
Definitely. Utilise it heavily. And then Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, finally 50% off, $14.99. So a big week for sales.
Yeah. Pick up the rock of the game. Yep.
Yeah.
That's... If you haven't played it, the second you're like, oh, I can pick up rocks. Oh, I can pick up everything. Oh, I'm never leaving this cave. I'm never gonna be able to leave this cave because there's gonna be stuff for me to pick up. Oh god. And you never get out of the intro.
Ah.
That's You don't need the rocks.
It's
but
the
they're
Skyrim cheese wheel problem.
Yeah, yep. I can't pick up this cheese wheel because I'm full on cheese wheels.
It's the good old kleptomania simulator.
Yeah. So this week it was in the Gamerscore games, but I took it out because I realised that's what I was recommending. Scribblenauts Showdown is 60% off and $15.99. If you've never played a Scribblenauts game, this is a really good introduction because it's not quite like a standard Scribblenauts sandbox adventure. There's a sandbox section where you complete tasks based on what you're scribbling. So it might be someone needs this thing to die, so you summon Cthulhu, or someone needs their cat down from a tree, so you summon Cthulhu, or like you need to get this grandmother across a road, so you summon Cthulhu. And look, honestly, Cthulhu solves most problems in this game. But there's also a party side where you're on like a game board and you come up to challenges that might be you're in a race. You'll get bonus points if the thing you're riding is related to school. So you might pick a giant flying eraser. You might type that in or something like that.
Or, like a school bus, like a normal person.
That makes a lot more sense than...
Have you seen how fast the razors get thrown across the room, man? They're pretty quick.
Clearly, you've never ridden a giant flying eraser.
Yeah,
because your school bus ain't got nothing in this race.
All right, a magic school bus then.
There we go.
A million Gamerscore and you haven't even ridden a giant eraser.
Oh my
God.
Come on. I do genuinely feel dumb that I immediately went to something obscure and not like school bus.
It's fine. The game sounds great.
Yeah, no, really good game. Alex, what do you think? What are you thinking this week?
So I picked out one of the Xbox 360 games. So I really enjoyed playing Remember Me. It's 75% off, $4.99. So Remember Me was made by Don't Nod, who do Life is Strange games?
Yep.
They do?
Yep.
Yeah. So the storytelling in the game is very, very good. It came out shortly after one of the Batman games, and it has quite a similar combat element, but you can create your own combos in it, and you can put in, they're called pressons, which, it makes you faster. If you do a combo and you hit it, it heals your health, or this one does extra damage, so you can customize your own combos that way. And tie that in with the Arkham style of combat, and a very good story. I thought it was a really, really enjoyable game, and $5 is absolute steal for that. But yeah, Matt, what are you recommending?
I'm going to go with Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Trilogy, 35% off, $19.49.
Objection.
Exactly. Yeah, hold it. Game's great. I know that Chin's played through all of it as well as I have. Alex, have you played it yet on the Xbox yet?
No, I haven't.
Still, I mean, if it's the same game basically. It's not, they haven't changed anything from the actual original trilogy, but some of those cases are really great, especially in the first. It's always the last couple of cases for each of the games are just really, really great.
So in depth as well, and it's like you go and I'm like, I don't know how someone thought of this, let alone how they expect me to solve it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that last case in the first game is absolutely ridiculous. It goes on for so long. So I would highly recommend it. The humor's great. All of it ties together really nicely in it. The trilogy is a really nice package, and I would say, definitely jump on it. I mean, it's essentially a visual novel in a courtroom. You can use a guide if you want to just get through it, but it is actually fun, at least trying to work out some of the cases yourself. There are some little bit of esoteric stuff that doesn't quite make sense, or you have to look at in the same way that a lot of these games are, where you have to look at it from their point of view and think about how they would think about it. So if you do too many steps ahead, it doesn't always work. But I mean, otherwise, just use a guide and just play through it for the humor at least, because it's just incredibly entertaining.
Yeah. Alex, you mentioned here Clouds and Sheep 2 is sort of on your list to buy. Is there anything else you're considering?
Yeah. Well, after you guys talked about Hexologic, I'm going to buy that. But, you know, what is it? $4.99 price point at 0 to 1 hour. I mean, that's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
So can't stick away from that. But I know I've mentioned this before, and I think you guys tried to talk me out of it. But Turok, you know, $5. I don't know. Is that worth a buy?
I mean, I picked it up a while back when it was a bit more than that, and so for $5, I think that's probably
it came out at $20, didn't it?
Yes, so, I think it was on sale for like 10 about a month or two, maybe a couple months ago. But so for $5, I would definitely jump on that. And Turok's it's a bit rough these days, but it's still a really like fun quality game, and it's great to mess up dinosaurs.
It's the remaster from the Nintendo 64 days, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, because I never played them back in the day, so
Neither
maybe it'll
did
be a good experience.
And I tried this out through a friend's tag, and I was like, nah, not for me. That just didn't appeal to me. There's nothing inherently wrong to it. It's just I don't. Even games of that era, I have no nostalgia for because I didn't play the Nintendo 64 much at all. I went from a Super Nintendo to a PlayStation 1.
Right.
Like, I never had a 64.
Such a good console. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Kirby, what are you going to buy, mate?
Oh, see, there's a lot of stuff that's really close to, like, a purchase for me. I mean, I've got a long list of really considering. So, Need for Speed Payback Deluxe Edition, it's like $7.50 for the game and the DLC and probably some other little extras. And I know it's a grind fest and it's microtransaction heavy, but I'm kind of like, yeah, but for $7.50, do I care? Rage 2 Deluxe Edition is like $30 or $40. I'm kind of like, same thing. Is it? Where I'm not sure if it's good enough. Car Mechanic Simulator is like $23. Where there are a lot of things sort of bordering on the price point where I'd definitely purchase them. What I'm likely to get is Citizens of Space, which I know nothing about. Fort Boyard, which is a game that has not released in North America, and it's based on a French TV show where they're like, it's kind of like a Wipeout or, I don't know, one of those reality TV show game shows where you do challenges in Fort Boyard, which is a prison out in the middle of the water in France. So, yeah, it seems to be pretty easy, but it's really expensive. But I'm kind of like, yeah, but it might not get any cheaper. Onrush, I'm likely to buy now that it's out of Game Pass. This thing is like $12 for the standard edition, so that's good enough. And Varangi, I'm probably going to buy because it's just cheap enough. So, I mean, it all depends on whether I spend $700 on a game for the Switch that costs about $5 on the Xbox, because the pricing is ridiculous. But yeah, see how we go. That's on my list of things I will really contemplate purchasing. I'll probably at least get a few things on there, but whether I get everything, yeah, I don't know. Oh, Alex is writing something.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
I can't hear him.
No, okay. Oh, my bad. I muted myself.
No,
go for it. I was adding things on there to remind me to buy
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
I think I might pick up.
Oh, sorry.
Just thinking about it, I may pick up Ben 10. I might pick up Yonder, Hexalogic probably, and Varanye. Yeah, but nothing too surprising. I think I have most of the other stuff that looks good, or the stuff that looks bad that I need to play through anyway.
Yeah, yeah, those are always the best ones. As for new games, we're kind of just dropping down to the stuff that really sticks out to us or appeals to us personally. So on Friday, we have 3 titles dropping. FIFA 20, which now that Aston Villa are back in the Premier League, I'm really considering purchasing because they'll be in the Premier League in the game as well, which would be nice. Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition is out on the Switch on Friday. Even though the dev has quote-unquote confirmed that it'll have a new achievement list. I'm still kind of iffy about whether it would have an achievement list. It's one of those things I won't believe it till I see it. But I played the demo the other day, and it's gorgeous looking. It really looks amazing in that handheld mode. It's so beautiful, and it plays really well. So I pre-ordered that anyway, so I'll be playing that at PAX regardless. Or, during that time while I'm down. And also Code Vein comes out on Friday, which is a anime Dark Souls. That describes it to a T. So those we're kind of interested in. Knobs and Discos, we have a few this week. Mortal Kombat X has had 4 achievements become discontinued. Everything tied to invasions, which just the mode seems to have been taken out of the game entirely. The servers are shut down, or I don't know. They've just, I think on June 16th, roughly, they just stopped doing invasion stuff, and no one had earned the achievements since then. So that's unfortunate. Enemy Territory Quake Wars, all of the online has died, so 21 achievements are discontinued. And in Madden 17 on the 360 has had the achievement Winning Draft Day become discontinued. This was for drafting a team with an overall of 82 or more in Draft Champions, and I imagine the servers for that mode have just been shut down by EA. Madden 17 would have come out in 2016, so that's not a huge surprise.
It's longer than normal for them.
Yeah, and with about as much notice as they usually give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, you're writing more stuff in the milestones, buddy. What are you?
I'm not writing anything. What are you
Professor
talking about?
Pluto
You keep saying,
with a little edit mark next to it. I can see it.
What are you talking about? Nothing's nothing.
You're just splitting it up. All right, buddy. Okay. Forgive you. I'll do the first lot because I don't want to talk much.
Yeah, you talk a lot.
McLovin Legend 1 has reached 2 milestones. One of a completion percentage of 70%, and the other for reaching 550,000 Gamerscore, so congratulations. Mad Eye Pad Eye has reached a new milestone of a 1.6 ratio, which is actually quite tough considering most of his achievements are a 1.0 from his dives. Just diving every game. That's pretty tough. And Hatton 90 has reached a new milestone of 3,000 achievements won, so good job there.
Alright. Fwath? How do you say that? I'm
Fourth.
not sure. Fwath has reached a new milestone, 100,000 true achievement score. What the Fug has reached 13,000 achievements won. Trash Forever, 40,000 achievements won.
I believe I missed a H in that name.
Trash.
I'm pretty sure his name is Thrash Forever, because I wrote this up at work, and I wasn't copy-pasting.
Oh, yeah.
Thrash
Forever.
Can't access it.
Sorry, Thrash Forever.
No,
40,000
no.
achievements.
At this point, he's got a new name. He's got a new name.
Can't be changed.
Trash Forever.
He's Trash Forever now.
Planting's on a 2,250-day achievement win streak. Oh,
He's a madman.
And Prue has unlocked 21,000 achievements.
All right, and Ben L72 has reached a new milestone of 250 games played. Niberios has reached a new milestone of 500,000 gamer score. Mark B has reached a new milestone of 10,000 achievements won. AZ Mongoose has reached a new milestone of 200,000 true achievement score. And once again, Planting 42 has reached a new milestone of 1.3 million TA score.
Actually,
Crazy,
I didn't appear on this list for reaching top 100 in Australia for true achievement.
I did that. When did that happen?
About 3 days ago.
It was probably just not highlighted, and I don't look at anything that's not
fair
highlighted.
enough. Fair enough.
Are you sure you're friends with the correct account, buddy?
Come on, mate. I was the first
There
friend
you
with
are.
that account.
Last Saturday, and no, it's not good enough, I guess.
No, just that and trash.
Top 100 in the country. Nah, it's not good.
For true achievement. So
Yeah, considering, like you said, like Mad Eye Pad Eye, I'm 1.0 and everything at the moment. Except Plague Inc. I've got to, offset the 1.0s with 3, 4, 5s. Yeah.
Oof.
Anyway,
let's see where we are on the gamer score for Australia.
73.
That was silly.
You
Of
fact
course,
checking me?
of course, sorting by my friends is going to change the numbers. That's dumb. Why would you do that? You're actually 5th on my friends list. Why?
Okay.
That's so dumb. Like, it doesn't keep your position when I sort to just seeing my friends only. It resorts all your positions ranked on my friends. I can see you're ranked by my friends. Like, that's dumb.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be moving up by next episode.
Oh, yep. Where are you moving to?
Where are you going to be come PAX?
I'm going to be up to 7th.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
When are you taking on Big Sexy One?
Which one? Which of the people that...
Oh, come on, mate.
Shots fired.
Oh, boy. That's some...
I mean, he and his family are retired now, right?
Alright. So, yeah, no, those are good milestones. Congratulations, everyone. Everyone that was added deserved to be there, and anyone that wasn't didn't.
Okay.
Well,
call me when
most
you
of
make top 100 in Australia.
I'm,
Exactly, mate.
I'm already there.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. Where's your milestone showing that you're top 100 in Australia? Exactly.
It happened like years ago.
Yeah. Doesn't count then, does it? Pre-Gamerscore podcast. Doesn't count.
Was it on the dot?
Did you get 100 on the nose?
Yeah.
You did?
I'm still 100 right now.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, Jin's going to go and fact check me while we do this outro. But anyway.
Game fact check
episode 60? Oh, yeah, all right, mate. But your puns are not as good as Matt's, I'm just saying. If you wanna...
That's a compliment.
No, it's not a compliment.
Absolutely.
It's a compliment to Matt. This is not a compliment to you.
We're going to be engaging in some Mortal Wombat soon, buddy.
It's not an invasion.
Wombat. There's a guy on TA, I'm pretty sure his gamer tag is Combat Wombat, and it might be my favourite gamer tag that has ever existed. Anyway.
It's a good one.
If you want to send us an email at the Real Gamerscore podcast, you can do so. It's hello@realgamerscore.com. You can find us on Twitter at Real Gamerscore. Discord, you can find the invite to join us at discord.io/realgamerscore, and you can find our Patreon page at patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can write in questions to the show and we will get them answered, so send them on the Twitter or Discord or wherever you like. And if you're interested in being on the show, let me know. If you want to support the podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes or the podcast platform that you listen on.
Can we have a Wombat
leave us
tier?
a review. What?
Can we have a Wombat tier on Patreon? Just the lowest tier.
Just for you.
Your Wombats.
Just for you. 50 cents. All right. You can leave us a review. Tell your friends about us. Retweet us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and Patreon if you desire. Matt, if someone wants to contact you because you love interacting with people, where can they find you?
Yeah, I mean, I love interacting with people. People are always great. Try and send me as many messages as possible. I love all my fan mail. I'll open it on stream. We can talk about all the fun things I get, all the bills I pay, and all these great things about how I need to pay my rent and my power bill. And I mean, it's not quite the fan mail I'm after, but hey, one day.
Someone wants to talk to you. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah, so someone wants... You find out pretty quickly when you disappear from the world that you do mean something to someone.
It's important. It's important
someone.
to be
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, someone. I mean, there's someone being, the IRD. But,
What's an IRD?
Inland Revenue Department, yeah.
It's the ending of a Wombat word.
The ATO, the Australian Taxation Office.
There you go. That's, yes. Whatever your... Insert regional equivalent joke here, please.
Yes. And have many lols.
Thank you, Chin. We just added that laugh in. As I was saying, I love to hear from people, so make sure you talk to me as much as possible. Just keep bothering me on Discord, unless you're Shadowless Edge, in which case don't ever speak to me again.
You know what you did.
Terrible person. You absolutely know what I'm talking about. And I tried it and it was a disaster.
The mess afterwards was indescribable. Alright?
Damn Shadow.
I honestly don't even know where you got some of the things that you needed for that.
I'm pretty sure that's been illegal in Australia since at least the 1940s.
It's bad.
Oh, okay, that's. Oh god.
Oh,
You've been waiting
man.
to rip that out since we started talking about clowns and sheep, haven't you?
I'm getting some abs from this podcast. I'm gonna be ripped by the time I get to PAX.
Did you end up finishing telling people where they can contact
Yes,
you,
he
Neo,
did.
Or did we just... Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
sure. Just hit me up on Discord or on True Achievements or yeah, exactly. Unless, like I said, unless you're Shadow, in which case, don't ever speak to me or my family ever again.
Jin, where can people find you?
So if you just get your trusty Wombat signal and shine it into the clouds,
Wombat signal. Yeah, okay.
to Womba Bomba
Alright.
Bat signal, or find me on trueachievements.com, on Xbox Live, on Discord, on Twitter, all under the handle ChinDocta, ChinDocta. Occasionally I do the mixes, but I haven't been for a while and probably won't. Or I may be more
When's
frequently,
your
actually.
Blair Witch scary stream coming up?
I could do that. I can do that next during a. See, I kind of want to do it on a weekend, but I'm coming up to 2 weeks off for school holidays, so I'll be unemployed for 2 weeks, so I can try out my full-time mixer streaming job. Like it, you say it's school holidays. I'm just not working. That sounds like unemployment for me, and I'm not getting paid, so definitely.
You don't get paid for your school holidays?
No, I'm not. I'm not a salaried worker. I'm-
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, I'm casual.
Yeah, you are.
That's no good.
Yeah.
That's no good. All right. Well, if you want to find me, you can find me on Mixer, on Twitter, on Xbox, and True Achievements, Professor Pluto.
Planting
and on Twitch,
42.
Professor Pluto. Not Planting 42. Planting 42 is a good bloke, though.
This is the Urban Spaceman.
Is he Super Spaceman?
We'll see Planting next month at PAX, right?
Yeah,
He
definitely.
said he's coming down, yeah?
Yeah, he's bringing his girlfriend Nicole.
I was going to say bring Nicole.
Aw,
Damn it, Chin! Damn it, Chin!
Okay.
Alright, well, I'm glad we're on the same wavelength at least.
Yeah.
Oh,
And this is why
we
we are the worst people in Secret Hitler, because we just assume from the get-go that we're both liberal, and then that backfires so hard. That's because we will automatically go, yeah, from the get-go. I go, yeah, Neo's the one I can trust, regardless of anything. And Neo, I feel like Neo does the same, because we're
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I mean, to be fair, even if I'm Hitler and I know you're a liberal, I still trust you.
yeah.
It's just going to help get you over the line.
Yeah.
That's what he did for me when I was the Hitler in that one game. He just kept accusing everyone else and convincing everyone else that someone was a Hitler. And I'm like, yeah, man, those damn Hitlers.
Neo could convince me I was a fascist when I was liberal. Maybe I did put the red card out with two options. I don't know.
Do you want to plug? Is there a secret Hitler game going on this weekend?
I don't
we
know.
About?
There either is or there isn't. Hit me up if you want to play. If we get, Brad's always down. If we hit me up specifically if you're UK or US, because I do want to get you guys involved more, and we can work out a time that works for you guys. Because I'm more than happy to run just like a UK US only game. And we're also looking into other games like One Night Werewolf. That's a little bit more complicated. If we can get a good Mafia, online version of Mafia, that's a great game. I've recently watched the Beyond the Summit Rocket League Mafia games. That's hilarious. That's brilliant. If you watch any of the pro scene on Rocket League, go watch those because you just get to see the pro players just rip on each other. CJ is brilliant. He's hilarious. But no, yeah, we'll hopefully, if not this weekend, the weekend after that, we can sort something out. Maybe we'll figure out how to live stream us doing it at PAX, playing board games and stuff, IRL streaming.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Hey.
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure out something there. But it's tons of fun. And we just got a new milestone, and this is much more valid than Alex's. Hatton90 is in the top 2,000 of the England True Achievement leaderboard for hockey. So, congratulations, buddy. It's a much more worthy milestone than any other leaderboard ones we've had this week. And on that note...
Congratulations, Hatton.
I think we need to get out of here because you two, the kings of derailing, we better shut it out. Alright, episode 60 is being dragged, kicking and screaming into the night. We'll see you in episode 61. See you later.
Later on.
Bye.